It's time to remember that. With Kyle Sandell.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent located downtown Midland. MLB All-Star voting got underway yesterday, and the Tigers are in a spot where they're going to have several All-Stars this season. There's some obvious ones. Tarek Skubal will for sure be an All-Star once again. Riley Green will likely make back-to-back All-Star appearances. But then there's a few other guys that you would think might have a chance to be starters or get voted in as reserves. Names like Will Vest come to mind. Gleyber Torres has a pretty good shot at second base. But the guy that I'm vouching for to be the starter at his position in the American League in the All-Star game is none other than Spencer Torkelson. Now, you look at the initial numbers and you think, no way Spencer Torkelson makes it over the Vlad Guerreros or Paul Goldschmidts in the American League. Just a .230 batting average right now for Torque. But he leads all the American League first basemen in home runs with 14, and he's hit at the heart of an order of a Tigers team that has been the best in Major League Baseball this season. Third best OPS in the American League right now, better than Vlad Guerrero. And being the prime right-handed bat on the best team in Major League Baseball, leading that team in homers with 14, while bouncing back from the type of criticism and season he had a year ago. I know all that storyline stuff doesn't go into it, but Spencer Torkelson has a really good chance to make his first All-Star game this season, and I believe he should be the starter in the American League at first base. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland.
Hey everyone, Brad Tunney here with the Mitt. And I want to talk to you about my friends over at Maple Hill Nursery, one of the great local family-owned businesses in our region for over 40 years. Now, their specialty is in landscaping with expertise and high-quality trees, plants, and shrubs. They're also a full stocking dealer of Dairy Dew, and they've got polywood furniture. Now, I've got it all over my backyard. It's maintenance-free and long-lasting and comes in 18 different colors. Stop by Maple Hill Nursery, just 2.5 miles north of the Midland Mall on Eastman.
Another episode takes over Dow Diamond. Star Wars Night with the Great Lakes Loons returns Saturday, June 14th. Immerse yourself in the echoes of the Empire saga throughout the game, culminating with an epic fireworks loontacular. Presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. Tickets are selling fast. Visit loons.com before they're gone.
Thank the maker.
This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think replay should be taken out of basketball entirely. I think 2 super conferences would fix college football. I think the best football, basketball, and baseball players of all time are currently playing. I think the day the Lions win the Super Bowl is going to be the greatest day of my life. I think Monty Williams sabotaged the Pistons on purpose, and you can't convince me otherwise. I think Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches of all time, but most definitely cheated, got caught, and ran away. And I think you should tune into the Ben Bosscher Show, fueled by Forward Energy, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt if you agree with anything I just said.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning, Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. Appointment radio across the state.
Remember that.
Hello, and welcome into Friday's Ben Bosscher Show, the first Friday we have of the Ben Bosscher Show. Day number 5 of the existence of the Ben Bosscher Show. Hope everyone's having a good day. It's Scooble Bump Day for everyone who celebrates. I can't wait. The week has flown by. This is the new normal, though, in the Great Lakes Bay region. How would be how you say that. How's it going, Great Lakes Bay region? How's it going, everyone else on YouTube, on Facebook? I'm excited for today's show. We've got a lot to get to today. We've got some Lions. We've got some Tigers to work in. We'll work in both finals throughout as well, with the Stanley Cup Game 2 tonight and the NBA Finals starting last night, which that was an incredible ending to that game, by the way. Scooble on the mound, I think I already mentioned that. Kyle and I went golfing yesterday and got challenged by another media figure online. I want to get into that first, more than anything. But before we do that, before we dive into the Lynx and the Kyle's and I epic performance at Sandy Ridge yesterday. Can I just give you one stat, Kyle? I don't want to spend a whole segment on the finals from last night. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but I have one stat for you from last night's game because I think it'd be a disservice to sports fans if we didn't just talk about it for 2 minutes because that was incredible. This is the stat of the decade of the day. Since 1996-97, which is when the play-by-play era started in the NBA, they track every single shot, the person with the most postseason shots to tie or take a lead in a game with the last 3 seconds of a game is LeBron. He's done it 8 times, either tied or ended the game with under 3 seconds in the playoffs.
In the postseason.
Yeah. 8 times in LeBron's entire career. Halliburton's done it 4 times in just these playoffs now. In just one season, he's halfway to the record. This might be the most clutch player I've ever seen. He's not, but the run that they've gone on this season has been incredible. And now suddenly, we've got a series. I thought Oklahoma City was going to kind of run away with it, but I did say if the Pacers were going to put up a fight, it'd have to be in game 1. Not only did they put up a fight, they win the game and take their first lead of the game with just a few seconds left. Just an incredible game. It's been an incredible run for the Pacers. I just wanted to put that out there before we start. So we don't have to spend a ton of time on it, but if you have a response to that, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just insane. I mean, especially last night, because all the other game winners for Halliburton came on like games where he was already going off. He had 12 points before he hit that shot last night.
Concert tours. That's what Reggie Miller kept saying. Or not Reggie Miller. Who was that? Richard Jefferson.
Yes.
Concert tours.
But still, even with the game on the line, his teammates trust him, and obviously he has that confidence because he's done it all playoffs long and gets it to go, man. Just insane. I did not think that one was going to go. There was no way. And it just did.
Do you think it's funny that Richard Jefferson was saying you can't have concert tour dates from your star when in reality, like Richard Jefferson in any playoff series he ever played on, if he put up concert date numbers, he'd probably be happy. It's like, I got to put up 12 shots today. Let's go.
Hey.
I love
Richard
Jefferson.
Was an all-star.
I like Richard Jefferson. I just thought that was kind of a funny comment.
Yeah, it was.
One more thing. 2025 playoffs for Halliburton. 18.5 points per game, 9.5 assists per game, 5.9 rebounds per game. 2004-2005 MVP Steve Nash. 15 points per game, 11.5 assists per game, 3.3 rebounds per game. Tyrese Halliburton, there's not a ton of comparisons for him historically in the league. I don't think there's any players really that play the way that he does in the league right now in terms of the selflessness, just distributing as fast as possible. It's a little Jokic-esque. But if I were to come up with a player to compare it to, it'd probably be Steve Nash, just with 10% more aggression in terms of hunting his own shots. And by the way, Steve Nash has talked about this post-retirement. He wishes he was a little bit more aggressive. That's my only count. And that's all the time
not bad.
I'd like to dedicate to the finals, at least to open up the show. So you and I went to Sandy Ridge, Midlands Hidden Gem, after the show yesterday.
Yes.
And I mean, it was fun. We were listening
that's one way to describe it, yeah.
We were listening to Dan Dickerson. I liked that part of it. I didn't like that the Tigers were losing. I've got a couple complaints about them coming up here on the show. But as a joke, we end up posting, I ended up posting our scorecard yesterday, and I thought everyone would understand this is a joke because of how bad the scorecards actually were.
Clearly, yeah.
Neither of us hit a par once. We only played 9. Your best hole was a single bogey.
I had 2 bogeys.
Yeah. You had 2 bogeys, both on par 3s. Yes. I don't think I had a double bogey.
You bogeyed the last hole.
Oh, yeah, I had 2 double. No. Because remember, I had the first one went into the woods.
Oh, right.
So I double bogeyed 2 holes. And as a joke, I posted the scores. I shot a 64. Kyle shot a 59. And I said, little post show 9. Kyle and I challenge anyone in the radio industry to a scramble this summer. As a joke.
We're clearly bad at golf based on the scorecard, yes.
It takes our good friend Bill Simonson of The Huge Show all but 14 minutes to reply to this tweet, repost it, and say him and Superfly, his producer, accept our challenge. That's it. That's all he said. I don't know what it implies.
And his eyes just like lit up.
Yeah, but if we're going to golf, who's going to fill in on his show? I fill out in his show probably 15 times a year, and every time it's because he's golfing somewhere.
It's a really good point.
He's gonna kill us. I don't understand. I don't know if he recognized it was a joke or not. And now I'm looking at this does he want to play for something? Does he want to come kick our butts and hustle us? Does he want to put money on the table? And because obviously he's taking it. He golfs all the time.
Right.
And his producer, Superfly's good too. He's in a league every Wednesday. I'm a little scared what we got ourselves into here. I'm sorry I dragged you through this. I didn't realize what was going to happen. But
Look,
it sounds
dude,
like we've got two people challenging us in a round of golf. And I'm just going to be honest. I don't like our odds. We're going to have to start increasing it from one time a week to maybe 2 or 3 to even come close to competing with.
Yeah, we're going to have to really start practicing. Hey, I'm down for a 2v2 Huge Show v. Ben Bosscher show. It'd be a lot of fun. But obviously, we know how that's going to go. But we thought the Thunder were going to, destroy the Pacers. It's an underdog story.
It's hard to collapse in a scramble, though. You got to have two different people collapsing.
Yeah, you
rather
really have
than,
to. Yeah, exactly.
All right, that was a good way to end typically a week. Maybe we should have gone today rather than Thursday, but I had a good time yesterday. Of the 9 holes, how many times did both of us hit it onto the fairway off the drive? Once?
Ooh, both of us on the same hole?
Once? Twice?
If that. Probably once, yeah. Probably once.
Thank God there was no one behind us, because there was people a few holes back. I think they caught up at one point on a par 3, but if there would have been like a real group behind us, like trying to play, and then them watching us just go back and forth, trying to search for our balls and then dropping wherever,
yeah,
it would have been embarrassing.
It would have been very embarrassing. There's not a lot of water at Sandy Ridge. I'm pretty sure I found every body of water on the golf course. So there's probably 3 little ponds, and I found each one.
See, people always ask, what's your score when you play? And I'm like, I don't know, 2. Like, what do you mean 2? Like, I only lost 2 balls today. That's how I keep track. I only lost 1 yesterday, I think. No, did I end up? No, I shot that Lions ball right into the woods on hole 9. That was the second ball
I lost a pretty good amount.
No, I think I lost 3, actually. Yeah, I lost 3. Because very first drive off the tee, right into the right, never to be seen again. The second one I lost into the water, and then the last one I shot into the woods on hole 9. Or a hole 18,
but now that
I
we've
guess.
exposed ourselves, it's only up from here, right?
Maybe. I feel like I played pretty good yesterday. I feel like I played pretty good yesterday. Yeah,
we're gonna need to temper our expectations.
We've got a lot of work to do before we do this challenge with Huge and Superfly. I don't know where we're gonna play though, because I feel like he's gonna want to play at a nice golf course where it's not very where it's too challenging, and all of a sudden we go from shooting a 66 and 59 to like a 75 and 68.
Right.
Like I'm a little worried about where we're playing.
No, but we're gonna play together. We're gonna practice.
And
we're
feel
gonna
like
win.
Since we threw out the challenge, we need home course. Our selection of where we're playing,
right?
Just to give us a little bit more familiarity.
They have the advantage anyways, so we should get that choice.
Yeah. We got maybe. I want to put something on the line, but then again, I'm like, why would you put anything on the line when you're guaranteed to lose?
Exactly.
So maybe not. Who knows? Maybe we'll mic us up. There was some talk about that yesterday. Mic the 4 of us up. Do a little YouTube thing out of it. Could be fun. Yeah, that is what happened yesterday. Again, we don't need to spend too much time on that. I thought it was worth bringing up at the beginning, though, because you know what? It's a Friday, and we're trying to have some fun. Scooble's on the mound today. I can't wait to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. We've got some Lions stuff to get to because Dan Campbell went to the podium yesterday. Media finally got to observe another OTA. That was the final OTA of the off season. So mandatory minicamp up next. That's when everyone will start reporting. We've got spring training camp, not spring training. Training camp actually not too far away when you think about it, because the Lions actually play football in July this year. July 31st is that Hall of Fame game against the Chargers. So everything's coming up a lot faster than everyone realizes. So we're going to get to that. The Tigers split a series with the White Sox. We've got some complaints. Like they're the best team by record in Major League Baseball right now, but they kind of pissed me off this week, and I think they pissed a lot of people off this week. And again, it's not like panic mode. Nobody's hitting the panic button, but there's a few different things that I can point to this week and be like, that was not cool. Specifically looking at AJ Hinch, specifically looking at the bullpen, a couple more reasons as well. I want to jump into that when we come back. And again, we're going to do a Lions trade. And I don't even know if it's a would you do this or not for me, because my answer is very obvious. I've made this pretty clear on the station over the past few months. I want to know whether or not Lions fans are just sick of hearing about it. And you probably know the direction I'm heading towards with that specific trade. But ESPN just put out another mock trade involving the Lions, involving the same player that you've been hearing about for a couple months now. I want to get everyone's thoughts on that, so go ahead and get ready to text in to 989-837-6125. We've got the YouTube chat going as well. We'll start reading those throughout the rest of the show. It is a Friday. I'm excited. Let's keep things rolling. Week number 1, off to a strong start here on the Ben Bosscher Show. Again, those Tigers kind of ticked me off this weekend. I'll tell you why. Not weekend, this week. I'll tell you why next when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
For 100 years, Forward Energy has been more than just a home heat and fuel provider. We've been a part of your community, and you've been a part of our family through every storm, every season, and every moment. We've been right here, keeping you warm and safe. As your hometown energy provider, we deliver more than just propane. We deliver peace of mind with reliable service, quality you can count on, and a commitment to always being there when you need us most. Forward Energy, 100 years strong, fueled by family, powered by community.
Experience world-class golf and family fun at the Dow Championship. Returning to Midland Country Club June 23rd to the 29th. Come and see top LPGA professionals compete in the only team-based event on the tour. Explore interactive fan experiences, family-friendly activities, and delicious local food vendors. Plus, veterans and children under 17 get in free. Don't miss out. Visit DowChampionship.com today for more information.
Step right up to Lucky Hot Dog Night with the Great Lakes Loons, Thursday, June 19th. Feeling lucky? Golden tickets will be hidden in the wrappers of our hot dogs throughout the game. It's Thirsty Thursday, presented by J.P. O'Sullivan Distributing, with half-off beer all night. And we'll have a post-game fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. From Midland to Bay City, Saginaw to Sanford, from Frankenmuth, Greenland, and Hemlock to Auburn, Essexville, and Pinconning, 100.9 The Mitt is the heartbeat of the Great Lakes Bay region and proud of it. We're your home for local sports, local stories, and local pride. Whether you're in Birch Run, Beaverton, Gladwin, Chesapeake, or Coleman, football, basketball, hockey, Spartans, NFL, Loons, all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Michigan.
This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, the Tigers split with the White Sox this week in a 4-game series. I'm not a fan of the 4-game series, just because you win 2 out of 3, and it's you kind of still have I don't know. It's either you win huge 3-1 or 4-0, or you split, and there's no in between. That would be how a 4-game series works. You're welcome.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. Deep dive into how a 4-game series works. But they end up splitting with the White Sox, who, of course, are one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball and have been for the last few years. And, Kyle, I've got some complaints about the Tigers. And again, they're the top team in baseball, right? There's nothing we can really say to hit the panic button. That's not what we're doing. But I feel like when you are protected, when you have the best record in baseball or the best record in any league, you are a little bit protected. No one's going to complain a lot. And I just want to use this next 10 minutes as a safe space, right? You guys can text in. You can use the YouTube chat. That seems to be off to a hot start this morning. To just any complaint you have about the Tigers, just feel free to drop it. 989-837-6125 or on YouTube. This is a safe space, right? Anything you want to get off your chest. Despite them having the best record in baseball, there's a couple things that have kind of rubbed me the wrong way, specifically the last few days. The first thing that has really annoyed me, and yesterday was the best example of it. AJ Hinch, he's got a supercomputer brain, but yesterday it made a critical error that I think ended up costing the Tigers in the long run. Stop taking Kerry Carpenter out of the game for Andy Ibanez. I'm begging you, AJ Hinch. Yesterday the game was tied 2-2 in the 8th inning. Carpenter gets taken out for Ibanez, who ends up striking out. Ibanez gets another at-bat in the 10th inning versus a right-handed pitcher. Kerry Carpenter clearly could have been in that spot. Kerry Carpenter versus right-handed pitching this year, 851 OPS, 287 average. He destroys these guys. So if Kerry Carpenter would have got that at-bat later on in the 10th inning, I think they would have had a chance to win that game. But instead, Ibanez is up to bat because you pinch hit Carpenter and took him out of the game early when the game was still tied, knowing if you go into extras, he's likely going to get another at-bat. Ibanez ends up flying out. Ibanez is supposed to be this left-handed pitcher killer. He's a 681 OPS versus left-handed pitching this year. He just flat out has not been good across the board. It's just not worth it when the game's still tied and you've got a chance for Kerry Carpenter to come up to bat again. That is the first thing that really annoyed me against the White Sox. That's specifically yesterday, but Kerry Carpenter, stop pinch hitting for Andy Ibanez. Andy Ibanez isn't the platoon guy that he once was. He's not the platoon guy he was even last year. It's been a bad season for him. He's a guy that you can't send down anymore, but I just want Kerry to have the most at-bats as possible. I know he's not as lethal against the left-handed bats, but if you're going to start pinch hitting Kerry Carpenter for the platoon split, find a different guy to do it for than Andy Ibanez, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, there isn't another guy on the bench that you would feel more confident in than Ibanez now that Henry Malloy is gone. So I get it. I get your complaint for sure because Ibanez last year was definitely this lefty killer, and he came in a lot of clutch spots. And he's a guy that Tigers fans will always love and remember for the hit he had against Cleveland last year in the playoffs with the bases loaded. So I understand why Hinch does these things. And for me, I'm personally never going to complain about something that AJ Hinch does. It's like complaining about a Brad Holmes late round draft pick. Right?
I'll do that too. Why'd you move up? Why'd you trade a third round pick to move up and take Giovanni Manu? Doesn't make any sense to me. We got to stop treating these guys like you can't say anything bad about them because that's what everyone did for Steve Yzerman for so long.
That's not what I'm saying though, because I think this is a valid complaint. But we weren't complaining about it when he makes a different substitution that might not make sense and it works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the frustration, specifically with Kerry Carpenter coming out. Right now that they've established this maximized lineup with potentially moving Colt Keith to third, which we did see some of that yesterday, Carpenter should never leave the lineup. And
ever.
Yeah, and obviously his numbers is a reason why a lot of people don't talk about Kerry Carpenter like this elite left-handed hitter, because he doesn't face lefties, right? He only is in optimized situations. So he doesn't get talked about in high regards among outfielders and designated hitters in the all of Major League Baseball because he only faces ideal situations. We got to start putting him against lefties more often so that we can truly see how good of an all-around hitter he is.
AJ Hinch, stop pinch hitting Kerry Carpenter for Andy Ibanez. That is my number one message. Number two, going off of that, I don't think Andy Ibanez should be on the team anymore. I think Andy Ibanez was a fun guy last year, had some big-time hits in big-time moments, but this year it's been quite the opposite. He's 1 for 12 in late/close game situations, which is 7th inning or later, one-run game. He's 1 for 12. Small sample size, but he has not come through in the same way that you'd want him to, or the same way that he was coming through to end last season. I get it. Plays third base, plays second base, super valuable. But now if Colt Keith's able to do that, I'd prefer to DFA Andy Ibanez and bring up Justin Henry Malloy, or just find another guy via trade that doesn't cost really anything. Andy Ibanez, the Tigers have outgrown him, I think. He'll forever be a legend for that hit you mentioned against Cleveland. But every time he's up to bat, I'm like clenching my fists like,
that's the clear spot that the Tigers should look to upgrade at the deadline, right? Because there really isn't a guy you want to bring up from the minors that you're like a huge upgrade over Ibanez. So that seems to be the major league spot that gets replaced because he's the for sure worst guy on the roster at this point, offensively.
My third thing is the bullpen. We've spent a ton of time on that already this week, so I don't know if we need to go into it too much, but between Brisky and Holton and Herter, I don't trust any of these guys. You got lit up in game 2 against one of the worst offenses in baseball, and it destroyed your bullpen for the rest of the series. And you saw it yesterday. They were super thin. Guys come in, give up more runs. It wasn't a great series for the bullpen, and it's not like I'm just reacting like, hey, bullpen, one bad series. The bullpen has been a red flag. The red flag just got raised even higher, right to the top of the poll, when you play against a White Sox team and they still struggle that badly, specifically on a bullpen day, and then it costs you the rest of the series. And you played extra innings in game number 4 of the series when you already had a bullpen game. Now you're going into a weekend series with the second best team in baseball record-wise, and suddenly you don't have a bullpen. Or at least they're not healthy, but it's not rested. It's not a very well-rested bullpen, I guess, is what I'm trying to say there. My fourth complaint, I guess this one's not really a complaint as much as it is something I'm monitoring. You know, Torkelson's 1 for 18 in his last 18 at-bats with 6 strikeouts. That's just something I'm monitoring going into the weekend. Cold stretch. Kind of dipping back into some of his old ways where just swinging and missing. That whip percentage is actually higher than it was last year right now, but there's only so much you can say for a guy that has 14 home runs.
I tell you what, dude, I think it's a full Tigers offense just is in a bit of a lull right now. I mean, we let Shane Smith, Sean Burke dice us up of the White Sox. Yeah. I'm not saying that you should be concerned, but offensively, other than the 13-run game, which obviously it's hard to just throw that out the window, but other than that game, this week in the Kansas City series, offensively, definitely starting to slow down for Detroit. It's not the end of the world or anything, but it's definitely noticeable.
My last complaint, the City Connect hats that they're probably breaking out tonight, they're so bad. It's the worst. It's the worst hat in baseball. It just says Detroit.
Worst hat in baseball.
Yeah, it just says Detroit on it. And I love Detroit, but why would you get rid of the English D on the logo? Like, why would you get rid of the logo, which is one of the coolest in sports? It's the old English D. It's classic. Just for a hat that says Detroit in a not really cool font and nothing else on the hat. The jersey's okay. It's not as cool as just the regular home whites. But the hats are so bad. And they're going to wear them tonight, and I'm just going to get annoyed at 7:10 or 7:40 or whenever that first pitch is, because they would just look better in the whites. And I'll die on that hill.
I actually have a City Connect Tigers hat that's like the colors of it with a blue brim, but it's not the Detroit. No, but it's different. It has the English D on the front.
So it's
and
not
they bought it at the Tiger shop. So it's like, why don't we just wear these?
So it's not the City Connect hat. It's just a hat
but it's
that
like
they're selling.
Themed. It's City Connect themed. It's the colors of it, and it has the Nike logo on it. So
those are all the complaints I had about the Tigers. Again, they're the best team in baseball. There's not a ton you can complain about right now, but there was a few things because I think
these series happen.
Yeah,
it sucks that it happens against the White Sox, but they happen.
989-837-6125. What on earth is happening in the YouTube comment section right now, or the chat?
A lot.
What is happening? I just looked at it and it's exploding. I'm trying to find like any real substance. Oh, okay. Once Matty V is back, my guess would be Ibanez heads down I-75.
Very good point.
I don't think they can send him down because he has 5 years of service time.
Well, he'd probably get DFA'd.
Yeah.
They have they wouldn't bring anyone else down.
Right. And would someone pick him up? Maybe. I don't know.
I think somebody would, based off of his production versus lefties last year.
Yeah, he could help out some like bad offenses, I'm sure.
Right.
But I think the Tigers have just outgrown.
Dealing with injury.
Right. I think that the Tigers have just outgrown Andy Ibanez, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think some people are complaining about the bullpen, which is rightfully so. I think that's what's happening. I don't know, the YouTube chat. It's hard to keep up with the YouTube chat sometimes. That's the goal,
We
right?
get some beef in the YouTube chat. I love it, man.
That's amazing. That's how you know we made it, man. That's how you know we made it. Oh, let's go to the Mitt messages here. Ben, nothing more sweeter than seeing Ben and Kyle doubt the Pacers. Did we doubt the Pacers yesterday? I guess we kind of did.
I doubted the Pacers yesterday, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did, but I certainly did.
I did. I thought the Pacers would keep it close in the first game, but I
yeah.
definitely thought OKC was going to win the series. Now I kind of am like, I don't know. If you can have 24 turnovers and still win a game, maybe you can win a little bit more games. Thoughts on trading for Bosscher? No, thank you. Aim bigger.
Yeah.
Bobachet's a terrible defender. Horrendous. I had it written
Much
down in my notes
improved bat
yesterday.
than Trey Sweeney, though. And I'm not as out on it as you are, I will say.
I just think if the Tigers are going to trade for a bat, like go trade for a superstar, not someone who would negatively impact the team in a big way.
It's so easy to say, go trade for a superstar.
-4 run value on defense at shortstop, -6 outs above average at shortstop. Trey Sweeney's a -2 on both. He's a 748 OPS, so he's not even a league average OPS right now. And he's had a fantastic May, 7 home runs in May, 7 home runs on the year.
Up. He's hot.
But still a below league average hitter right now.
Well, he's not replacing some all-star shortstop either, defensively. Like,
No,
we can't act like Sweeney's this stud on defense.
I think Trey Sweeney is the most likely player to be traded. I would actually say it's like 50-50 odds, like -110 odds that Trey Sweeney's on the team 2 months from now.
Really?
It's the most
he could
obvious
be a
spot to
valuable
upgrade.
trade piece. Yeah.
Other than
True.
Andy Ibanez. But
I
he's
do
not
think
really an everyday starter.
A good comment in the chat from Michael saying in the YouTube chat, saying this series against the White Sox was good to show the Tigers that they might have the best record, but they're not quite there yet, and they got to fill some holes.
Yeah.
For sure. It's a good eye-opener.
Yeah. Michael also said Bobachet's a bigger name than he is bat. Couldn't have said it better. Everybody knows the name because it just comes off the tongue well. Bobachet.
And, Dante Bichette as well. Like, he's got the dad legacy.
Bobachet sounds like a Star Wars character.
Hey, that's a really good... I like that.
Bobachet. It's like... Nah, I can't just...
It's like Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
It's probably why, yeah.
Speaking of Star Wars, it's Star Wars night next weekend here at Dow Diamond.
It is.
A little free promo there for the org. All right. So when we come back, I want to know whether or not Lions fans, this one specifically for the Lions fans, are at all interested in hearing about this trade anymore because it's been going on here for a few months now. I think it's still worth talking about, but I 100% understand if the Lions fans don't want to hear it anymore and think it's unrealistic. We'll get your thoughts on that when we come back. But before we do, I got to tell you about my friends at Higher Standard Automotive. The name, it says it all, honestly. Honest, reliable auto repair done the right way the first time. Locally owned and operated, serving Midland with expert service and small-town integrity. From oil changes to brake jobs to diagnostics would be how you say that word, and major repairs. They handle it with precision and care, ASE certified techs, fair pricing, and commitment to doing things the right way because your car deserves better than good enough. Drive with confidence. Choose Higher Standard Automotive. The Detroit Lions, a trade ESPN put out when we come back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Great Lakes Loons made history last night in Game 2 of a twin bill through a combined no-hitter. Eric Swan went 6 innings. Roque Gutierrez, the final 3 outs. First no-hitter for the Loons since 2021. Here was the final out, a Gutierrez strikeout to make history for Great Lakes. He comes still. Payoff pitch. Called the third strike on the outside edge. Great Lakes, a no-hitter. Eric Swan, 6 innings. Roque Gutierrez, the final 3 outs. And Great Lakes in celebration mode. First no-hitter as a club since 2021. And they do it on the road here in South Bend. Back at it tonight. Coverage starts at 6:50 here on the Mitt.
It is the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. This month's recipient is Kari Kiefer from Freeland High School. With a 3.97 GPA, Kari is a three-sport athlete competing in cross-country, track, and basketball. Kari is a leader on the floor and talked on what she thinks makes an effective leader.
I think to be a great leader, you have to be able to hold each other accountable, like being able to give constructive criticism, but also a positive with it. Anytime I kind of talk with my teammates, I try to give them a positive if I'm going to give them a negative too, just to kind of balance it out and keep that relationship strong.
Kari scored over 1,500 points in her 4 seasons at Freeland. She'll continue her basketball and academic career at Northwood University. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete for our scholarship program, visit 1009themitt.com.
Suit up, Sea Captain. At Dive and Glide in Midland, we've got all the gear you need to make a splash. Flippers that fit like a glove, masks that show you the underwater magic, and tanks ready to fuel your next adventure. Whether you're snorkeling the local lakes or dreaming of ocean depths, Dive and Glide has your back and your fins. Find us on Cambridge Street or swim over to diveandglideinc.com. Dive and Glide, making waves one splash at a time so you can dive deeper than ever before.
Hi, this is Jim Mahoney with Link Technologies. If you are a business or a nonprofit organization wondering how to navigate today's technologies landscape, let Link Technologies' talented staff work with you to develop a technology plan custom to your specific needs. We bring 27 years of experience helping businesses and nonprofit organizations just like yours achieve their technology goals. Contact us today and see how the right balance between cloud and on-premise resources can best work for you.
Hey sports fans, heading up north? Whether you're gearing up for the big game, hosting friends, or winding down after a long day, Hops and Schnapps is your ultimate beverage destination. With one of the largest selections of beer, wine, and spirits in Michigan featuring over 1,000 options from around the globe, we're your beverage experts. Plus, our friendly team is here to help you find the perfect pick. Visit us in Standish, Grayling, and Gaylord today. Hops and Schnapps, raise your glass, raise your spirits.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Michigan. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, I mentioned this a couple times before we went to break. I want to know whether or not Lions fans are sick of hearing about this. And what I'm talking about is the Trey Hendrickson trade. ESPN just put out another piece, Ben Solak, at ESPN Plus. Look, I really like his stuff. I think he's an excellent writer. But I do feel like at this point, the Trey Hendrickson stuff is somewhat just to get clicks. With that being said, if I was Brad Holmes, which is always a fun game to play, if I was Brad Holmes, I would be making this trade without even a question about it. Trey Hendrickson is an expiring contract, so you're only getting him for rental purposes. But with that being said, you add a guy who has had 17.5 sacks each of the past 2 seasons to this defensive line that already consists of Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil once Aleem McNeil is healthy. I think you're looking at what could be the best pass rush duo in the NFL, maybe the last few years. This is a first-team All-Pro guy. You're adding him and pairing him with Aiden Hutchinson. I don't care if it's a rental. I don't care if you can't afford to pay him. I don't care if it costs a second-round pick, which is exactly what this fake trade mocked up, a 2026 second and fourth that could become a third in exchange for Trey Hendrickson and a 2026 fifth-round pick. I do not care if it costs that draft capital. I don't care if he's only on the team for 12 months. It gets you that much closer because all of a sudden I think you can point at the defensive line and say that right there is dangerous for Jaden Daniels, for Jalen Hurts, for Matthew Stafford. I don't know if there's anybody in the NFC that has an answer to that. And when you go up against a Josh Allen, a Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson in a Super Bowl, you need to be able to get after the quarterback. Why have one elite pass rusher, Aiden Hutchinson, when you could have 2 elite pass rushers in Aiden Hutchinson and Trey Hendrickson? I'm all down for the sustained success, building up the draft picks. being good for a decade plus, building something. But at some point, you do need to put your chips in the middle of the table, and I think this would be a great opportunity to do it. I want to know from Lions fans whether or not they're interested in this at all, because now it feels like more Lions fans are like, we don't even want Trey Hendrickson. It's not worth the picks. Where do you stand on this?
I'll speak for the voice of the Lions. I'm sick of hearing about it too, because it's not going to happen. It was made obvious by Brad Holmes when he spoke after the draft about the whole, you need to pair an elite pass rusher with another one. Because how many elite pass rushing duos are there in the NFL? Like
not a lot.
Not a lot at all. So I think Brad Holmes made it clear that this isn't going to happen. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy to give up premier draft capital for a rental. Now, obviously, it would be a super fun addition to the team, but it's just not going to happen.
I want to know what
odds on this happening.
Plus 550.
I was going to go plus 750.
Let's call it in the middle, plus 650 that this is happening. I wouldn't take that. I'm just voicing out, and I agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen. So to your point, maybe it's not worth talking about. I would do it if I was Brad Holmes. I would start to get a little bit more aggressive here, knowing the Amon-Ra St. Brown contract is about to start kicking in. The Jared Goff contract's about to start kicking in. The Penei Sewell contract's about to start kicking in. And you still got a ton of guys to pay down the line. I'd get aggressive right now and put my chips in the middle of the table and have somewhat, not an all the way F them picks mentality, but a little bit of an F them picks mentality.
Right.
What do you think Dwayne thinks? Dwayne, would you trade for Trey Hendrickson? Let us know. 989-837-6125. The Mitt Morning Catch. Let's do it.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
All right, we got a ton of news today, so let's hop right into it. We did just talk about it a little bit in the open, but we'll throw it back here. Pacers, wild comeback to win Game 1 against the Thunder last night in the NBA Finals. Down by 9 points with 3 minutes to go, Ben. They're the first team in NBA history to win a game under those circumstances.
I feel like I've heard that multiple times with them this playoff series, or this playoff run. Like, whatever the circumstance was against the Knicks in Game 1, that was the first time it ever happened. The crazy stuff against the Bucks.
The Bucks won,
the first time, whatever that circumstance. This team just finds a way to win. They don't stop believing in themselves. And the Thunder are so great defensively. I think it's pretty fun to watch a team like that because it's pretty rare to see teams like that. I think you'd probably have to go back as far as the 2004 Pistons to find a team like that you can compare this Thunder team to. But the opposite of that, the Pacers, the way they play, the way they push the ball, it does feel very 7 seconds or less Suns-esque. There's a little bit of the pre-Durant Warriors in there to where it's so selfless. No one's hunting their own shots. Everyone's just trying to find the best shot available, which is what the Warriors were so good at. I love that brand of basketball, and I love the way Tyrese Halliburton initiates the offense before he's looking out for himself. You don't see a lot of guys doing that anymore. Like, even a Cade starts to get aggressive, hunts a shot, which I like. He's a great scorer. Halliburton, that's just like not his initial gear. You know what I mean? Like his initial thing is go find other guys' shots, and
especially when all the other role guys have stepped up in the way that they have.
Right, and I don't know if there's really any other players across the league that play like that other than Jokic. Not a lot of guards play like that anymore.
No, you're right. It's a lot of score. It's a score first guard league.
Yeah.
But Halliburton's kind of in that different. Does this change your pick for the finals the rest of the way?
I'm probably going to say Thunder in 6 now.
Yeah.
But now I think the Pacers have a legit chance. Because if you turn the ball over 24 times and still win a game, imagine what happens when you cut that in half.
Not only did they turn the ball over 24 times, OKC turned it over 6 times.
Right. It doesn't make any sense.
How did you win? It makes no sense.
I don't know. I don't understand it. I haven't gone back and watched it or anything. Except that Nemhard clip that I can't stop watching, which is ridiculous. Wait, I wrote it down. Between the legs, step back, cross, between the legs, cross, step back, bang, in your face, in the MVP's face. It's ridiculous, man. From a guy that most NBA fans have probably never heard of.
They're gonna hear about him now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to the biggest news of the day and yesterday, and the biggest news of the offseason, right? Our boy, Aaron Rodgers, agrees to a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nothing is confirmed yet as far as numbers-wise, but he is going to Pittsburgh today to actually sign and everything. So it has been confirmed by Schefter and Rappaport.
The timing of this was quite hilarious. We were on the golf course, so we weren't on our phones for a while, and I was like, I got the notification, hey, dude, Aaron Rodgers is Steeler, and I think you thought I was kidding or something.
I did, because I was lining up a 15-footer.
Yeah,
just
and I was like, hey, Aaron Rodgers, he just signed. And then I opened up Twitter and saw everything else that was going on. I was like, what is happening right now? Whatever.
Bad day for Mason Rudolph on Twitter, both sides, if you know what I mean.
Why?
Okay, moving on. Tigers, Cubs, game 1 tonight. Tarek Skubal versus Ben Brown of the Cubs. But this is the two best teams in all of Major League Baseball, win percentage-wise. Cubs at 39-23, Tigers at 41-23. And the Tigers are expecting like a sellout, standing room only for all 3 games.
This is going to be so awesome, man. Hey, can I get your honest thoughts on Comerica Park?
I enjoy the Comerica Park experience more than most. I really do enjoy Comerica Park. I don't think there's a single bad seat in that place.
I agree with that.
You can sit way up top. You can sit third base line. It's still the best. It's a great experience. I love the bat beer. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Comerica Park. Everyone hates on it, man.
My complaint on it, now I've done 2 different things where I've done complaints on something. So now I kind of feel bad about it.
Right, yeah, just negative Nancy over here.
No, that's not the case. It's just so hard to get food, I feel like. Like I walk around half the ballpark. I'm like, wait, where can I just get like a meal? That's my only complaint. It's that and Ford Field are in
every stadium ever.
No, that's not true. That and Ford Field, Little Caesars arenas. Anywhere you walk, you can get.
That's
food.
a good point.
Comerica Park and Ford Field are both in the same situation where they were built like 20 years ago, so they're nothing close to like the new state-of-the-art stadiums. But they're also not due for
bathrooms at every spot. Yeah.
Right, but they're not at all close to getting they're not due for a new stadium either. Like they're in that weird middle. I like Comerica Park. I agree that there's not a bad seat. But the home plate crowd or the home plate club or whatever it is, it's going to be a sellout, but it's going to look empty behind home plate.
Hopefully that gets filled up.
It won't.
These days. Yeah,
it won't.
It's brutal. Okay, moving on. We got a couple more things, and then we can kick the rest of this to the next news segment. Jeff Ishbia is next in line to be the next owner of the Chicago White Sox, following Jerry Reinsdorf. Jeff Ishbia is the brother of Matt Ishbia, who owns the Phoenix Suns, Michigan State alum. But it's weird. He won't take over till 2029, where there's an option for the Reinsdorf family to sell. But he can wait till 2033. It's really confusing.
Do you think?
But anyways, 5 years from now,
do you think he takes ownership of the team and just starts doing bananas things like his brother did when he started owning the Suns? Just crazy stuff for the first couple of years?
It's a lot easier to do that in baseball. You can get away with it much easier because there's no salary cap. So if you want to go crazy and spend money and sell the farm, it can work out better than in the NBA, like how Matt Ishbia has.
No picks, and your team sucks.
Yeah.
But remember, there's only, 2 or 3 teams that would rather have are in better situations than the Suns? Didn't he say that?
He did say that, indeed.
Team that didn't even make the playoffs.
All right, one last thing. Amon-Ra St. Brown, we found out yesterday, underwent offseason knee surgery and has not been participating in Lions offseason workouts, but St. Brown expects to be fully healthy by the start of training camp.
Oof. All right.
Yeah. Oof.
There you go. That is your Mitt morning catch. Hey, let me tell you about my friends at First Class Epoxy. First Class Epoxy now in Midland turns boring concrete into smooth, shiny, and durable floors. Perfect for garages, workshops, basements, anywhere you want a floor that looks great and lasts. Their epoxy is tough for heavy traffic, even those wild dance moves if you really want to get to it. Professional prep, flawless finish, done on time, and built to last. Say goodbye to stains, cracks, and dull gray floors. Say hello to slick showroom shine. First Class Epoxy now, or visit firstclassepoxynow.com. First Class Epoxy Now, where your floors get the VIP treatment they didn't even know they needed. The Lions, Dan Campbell, we heard from him yesterday, and he had some things to say about the way that the media handled the Frank Ragnow retirement. That is next here on the Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
When someone asks me, when is the best time to start saving for retirement, my answer is simple. Today. I'm Kevin Spencer, your Midland Edward Jones financial advisor. I can help you build a plan for your ideal retirement by identifying your unique goals and keep you on track to achieve them. The sooner you get started, the better.
Edward Jones financial advisor Kevin Spencer at 416 West Wackerly in Midland, under the green awning. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Looking for the perfect golf getaway? Tee up at Sandy Ridge Golf Course, Midland's hidden gem. Whether you're a scratch golfer or just out for fun, Sandy Ridge offers a beautifully maintained 18-hole course, friendly staff, and unbeatable rates, plus a brand new clubhouse. Book your tee time today at sandyridgegolfcourse.com or call 989-631-6010. Sandy Ridge Golf Course, where great golf meets pure Michigan beauty.
We can't see tomorrow, but we can hear it. And it sounds like peace of mind, knowing our lakes will be better protected by placing Line 5 in the Great Lakes Tunnel. And that we've added extra safety measures while we work to build it, because we're committed to keeping the Great Lakes safe for generations to come. Tomorrow is on. Visit enbridge.com/line5 for more information. Enbridge. Life takes energy.
Another episode takes over Dow Diamond. Star Wars Night with the Great Lakes Loons returns Saturday, June 14th. Immerse yourself in the echoes of the Empire saga throughout the game, culminating with an epic fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. Tickets are selling fast. Visit loons.com before they're gone.
Thank the maker.
This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. Calling all royalty. Join the Great Lakes Loons for Princess Night, presented by High Country Jumpers. Saturday, June 21st. The Loons will take the field in magical Moana-inspired jerseys. Stick around after the game for a dazzling fireworks loontacular, presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. It's a night fit for the whole family. Tickets are selling fast. Visit loons.com before they're gone. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. From Midland to Bay City, Saginaw to Sanford, from Frankenmuth, Freeland, and Hemlock to Auburn, Essexville, and Pinconning, 100.9 The Mitt is the heartbeat of the Great Lakes Bay region, and proud of it. We're your home for local sports, local stories, and local pride. Whether you're in Birch Run, Beaverton, Gladwin, Chesapeake, or Coleman, football, basketball, hockey, Spartans, NFL, Loons, all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
Hey, I'm Ben Bosscher.
And I'm Kyle Sandel.
And the two of us are live every weekday on 100.9 The Mitt at 9 a.m. until noon, giving you opinions on the teams that you care about the most.
The Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, those teams.
And a whole lot more. Whether we're breaking down a game from the night before, debating the biggest news from the day, or doing a draft or spread picks, we're always having fun. I mean, come on, it's our job to talk about sports. How could we not be having fun?
So if the big games aren't enough for you, if you're a real diehard fan, this show is going to be perfect for you. You can count on us to be your morning sports outlet every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show with Ben Bosscher and Kyle Sandel on 100.9 The Mitt.
You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic?
Yeah.
We've got it. On Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mitt.
Bel Air Brown, Dragon's Milk, Mad Hatter, Purple Gang, and Huma Loopalicious. These are names that let the imagination run wild and let the taste buds take a stroll. Welcome to the craft beer craze in Michigan. Bolstered by the Great Lakes and nurtured by the glacier-rich soil, here awaits a brewer's paradise. With fresh hops growing tall in the old Mission Peninsula and fresh barley fields sweeping the mitten, Michigan ranks 5th in the nation in the number of breweries, microbreweries, and brew pubs. From Good Harbor Golden to Whitefish Bay Wheat, from Motown Lager all the way to Park Bench Porter, Michigan is serving up a frosty glass of perfection. Whether you want to take in a game with a two-hearted ale or just sit on a front porch sipping a Steelhead Red, let's tap into life at its fullest and treat ourselves to a taste that's pure Michigan. Your trip begins at Michigan.org.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, the Ragnow thing at this point is somewhat old news. In case you don't know, Ragnow announced his retirement earlier this week, which I think caught a lot of us off guard. But if you actually followed the breadcrumbs, there was some signs that this was going to happen. And yesterday was the first time we got Dan Campbell in front of a microphone at the podium, and he had this to say about the reporting on the situation.
I got all the respect for Frank Ragnow, and man, I love him to death. And the other thing is, quite frankly, some of this stuff about contract talk, that's disrespectful. That's not what this is ever about. So, anyway, love you, Frank. Appreciate you.
I think I've made this pretty clear, but I want to do one more thing on it before we put it to bed. I thought the way that the Detroit press handled the reporting and saying it was contract issues rather than having an actual piece, to be honest, I thought the way that the free press reported the Ragnow situation was irresponsible reporting, and to me, they lost a little bit of credibility because they report on Friday that this is a contract dispute, and we find out a few days later he's announcing his retirement. That's why he's not at OTAs, and Campbell calls him out and says that was never what this is about. The Lions do not have contract disputes. They just don't. They get out in front of it. They talk with their guys. They're honest with them. There's no situations like what's happening with the Bengals right now to where it's handled unprofessionally. They get out and tell their guys straight up what they need from them to get a new contract. They tell them point blank, period. They do not have these situations arise. I think that's one thing to really credit the Lions organization for, to not have those type of distractions. And for the Free Press to start reporting that there's two players, Ragnow and Anzalone, that are unhappy with their contracts, I thought it was unprofessional. I thought it was irresponsible. And I'm a little bit glad it got blown back up in their face over the next few days. And I'm glad Campbell kind of threw it out there too. Because the interesting part about that was nobody else had that other than the Free Press.
Yeah, Campbell certainly felt the same way that you did. Disrespected by it, and disrespect to Frank. And it's just like, did anyone really even believe that? Right? Because you talk about how prestigious the Lions have been as far as keeping their guys happy and paying them and everything. So I don't know. It's tough that it has to go down that way. Campbell even said, like, when that was reported, that he's not worried about those two guys not being at OTAs. Now, obviously, Ragnow was for a much different reason, obviously, that he may or may not have known about. But it sucks that it had to go down that way for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. But if you follow the breadcrumbs, it's like, well, they drafted 2 interior offensive linemen. That was kind of the first thing. You go back even further, like right after the season ended, to a press conference Brad Holmes did, and he was talking about how versatile Graham Glasgow is, how he can play center, how he's going to keep cross-training. It's like, why would he play center if Frank Ragnow's here? That's another thing. And then even rookie minicamp, you draft Tate Ratledge, who has never played guard in his entire Georgia career, and then the second he shows up to minicamp is repping with first-team guards. And again, it's rookie minicamp, so only like rookies and UDFAs are there, but they started practicing him at guard almost immediately. And then even the first day of OTAs last week when the media was there, guess who was repping at guard? Tate Ratledge. So there was some breadcrumbs that if you now piece together, it makes a lot of sense. They definitely understood the situation. I think they were monitoring it, were prepared for it, and it's a good thing they did prepare for it because obviously Frank Ragnow made the decision to walk away. Shout out us, though, for asking Anthony Pittman about it earlier this week. We knew it. We knew it.
And exactly. Dan Skipper came out and said in the presser yesterday, and obviously Dan Campbell said that they had known for a while he was looking to make a decision on it. I don't think they knew for sure super early, but they definitely knew it was a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Hour number 1 down. Hour number 2 coming up. Based on those NBA finals, I want to touch on a blueprint for the Detroit Pistons in the 10 o'clock hour. A blueprint for the Pistons as to how they should handle this offseason. I want to do some Goff 1v1 trades. Where does he stack up against the rest of the league? We've got some more Tiger stuff to get to as well, but I'm looking at the YouTube chat right now, and we've got way more people listening and watching than we do have hit that thumbs up button. So go ahead, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button, and it can go a long way for us. We'd appreciate that here at 100.9 The Mitt, or if you're listening in your car, again, 989-837-6125. That is how you get a hold of us here on the Ben Bosscher Show. It is the Ben Bosscher Show. Hour number 2 on the way. Week number 1 wrapping up. We'll be right back here on the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
Parents, summer is almost here. Do you have a plan? Keep your kids active, engaged, and having a blast at Greater Midland Summer Camps. Every day is a new adventure filled with games, sports, creative activities, and new friendships. Plus, new this year, our full-day camps are now at the Greater Midland Tennis Center. More space, more fun, and more memories to be made. Spots are filling fast, so don't wait. Secure your child's best summer ever today at greatermidland.org/camps.
Sneakers laced and smiles ready. That's the vibe at the Greater Midland Dow Run Walk on June 7th.
Whether you're racing like a gazelle or strolling like it's a Sunday walk, this event brings fresh air, good vibes, and plenty of high fives.
Bring your friends, bring your family, and don't forget your best dance moves for the finish line party.
Sign up today at greatermidland.org. Run, walk, or show up just for the snacks. Just make sure you're there this Saturday.
At the Great Lakes Loons, our commitment to community goes beyond the ballpark. Through the Volunteer program, Loons staff and even players roll up their sleeves to serve the Great Lakes Bay region. From packing food boxes to reading in classrooms and even cleaning up local camps and parks, it's hands-on work that helps build a stronger, more connected community. Volunteer isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Because being part of this region means showing up when it counts. The Great Lakes Loons, serving the Great Lakes Bay region since 2007.
Scrolling? Make it count. Want local sports content that actually matters? Yeah. 100.9 The Mitt is loaded with local highlights, viral plays, breaking sports news, and takes you can't get enough of. It's hot! Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube today, and you'll never be out of the loop on the Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan State, and even the biggest stories in high school sports in the Great Lakes Bay region. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
Let's pick out a good wine. Let's discover a new taste from a new place. Let's meet the people who handpick the grapes in places dedicated to the craft, in a land that only knows one way to grow things, rich and full. Welcome to Michigan, where the 4 seasons and 4 Great Lakes smile on the winemaker, where the quality of the wine is exceeded only by the warmth of the greeting waiting for us. And with more than 90 wineries, covering more than 13,000 acres, the harvest has never been better. So let's wander through lush vineyards, discover hidden treasures in vast cellars, and renew ourselves in comfortable tasting rooms. Let's all raise a glass. Let's gather our closest friends and become even closer. Because taking time to toast the beauty and bounty of life is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Welcome back, Ben Bosscher Show, hour number 2. Let's get going. Live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live right here on 100.9 The Mitt in the Great Lakes Bay region. Look, the NBA Finals were on yesterday. I thought that was just everything you could ask for in a game 1, right? You had 2 teams going toe-to-toe. The comeback win, it felt like it was over once Oklahoma City went up 15 in the 4th, and you could see it in their faces. They took their foot off the gas a little bit. They thought they had won the game. And the Pacers, being the team that they've been all playoffs, believe in themselves and bring it down to the end. And Tyrese Halliburton, this is probably, you know what, I'll say it. This is the most clutch NBA Finals run that has ever existed at this point. I don't even know if it matters what happens the rest of the series. He's got like 4 shots that have been improbable in each of the series that he's played to help them win a game. So that's been fantastic. But there was something that got reported before the game that I thought was noteworthy for other NBA teams, and obviously the one I care about, the one you guys hopefully care about. I think we're still working on some of the older fans, getting them back into basketball. But I hope this NBA playoffs, if you watched last night, it will help you out a little bit because it's good ethical hoops, some of it. So here's what ESPN's Shams had to say yesterday in terms of how other GMs are viewing the finals.
Malika, executives all around the NBA are watching these NBA finals and these two teams specifically as a blueprint of roster building. And what does that mean? That means two-way players. That means players with characteristics of competitiveness, youth, two-way ability. And that's a departure from the star-heavy, three-point reliant teams that we may have seen in past years. And it's a possible solution to really modern-day building when we think about the second apron and the salary cap and the restraints that we've seen.
So here are my big takeaways from that. Depth over superstars, two-way players, building from the draft, or via trades where you trade away your superstar and get a new guy in return and then start building through that way. If I'm thinking about it from the Pistons standpoint, based on that and based on these two teams in the finals, not ever going all in on a trade to bring in a star the way that the Lakers did with Anthony Davis or the Bucks did with Damian Lillard. I'm certainly not trading for Kevin Durant. I thought that was stupid the whole time. I'm certainly not interested in a Giannis trade. I'm not interested in acquiring a superstar. No Zion, no Giannis, no Devin Booker. I don't want to give up these picks because look at what Oklahoma City and the Pacers have. They have all their picks, right? You don't make the move to trade for a guy until you think it's the final piece. The Pacers did it last year with Siakam. They get to the conference finals. They run it back this year, finals. The Thunder did it this past year with Alex Caruso, and look where it's gotten them now. You don't have to trade for the superstar and jump the gun of development and try to take a shortcut to the top. You let your guys develop. You get them in the building first, then you let them develop. That's where the Pistons are at right now. They've got their core in Cade, Asar, Duren, Ivy. How many of those guys can truly be in the core at the end of it? That's to be determined, but you have to at least let itself play out. You can't jump the gun and try to take a shortcut to the finals. Look at the two teams that are there. Look at the two teams that played yesterday. Neither of which tried to take a shortcut, trade for a superstar, get the duo, try to sell tickets. That's not the right way to do it. I don't know whether or not Ivy and Cade can play together long term, but you have to go find out. I don't know whether Asar and Duren can play together long term. The answer is probably not. But you have to go find out if they can. And to be honest, I would lean more towards Asar. But it's not worth going to sell one of them right now to try to land a superstar. If you're going to land another one of them, you should be trying to land a younger star and acquire some picks back the same way that the Thunder have done with the Paul George trade. They get SGA. The same way that the Pacers did when they land Tyrese Halliburton in a trade for Domantas Sabonis. You don't need, and it's pretty ironic that both the teams in the finals have, like, they didn't draft their homegrown star. That's where the Pistons can differentiate themselves a little bit more. But I guess my point is there is no need to go trade for a superstar like Devin Booker. As fun as that is to talk about, as great as those clicks would be if we did that segment, it's just not worth it. Run it back, re-sign Schroeder, re-sign Beasley. That's the way to do it. And once you actually think you're tangibly close, maybe that's next year's deadline, maybe that's next offseason, once you think you're within striking distance, that's when you trade for the final piece of the puzzle. The Pistons aren't there yet.
I think that's the big point that you make there is that the Pacers, waited until they went on a deep playoff run to make a big move. The Thunder waited until they were the 1 seed last year and lost in the second round to make their final piece in Caruso and getting Isaiah Hartenstein as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think the point of they had to make trades to get in that spot in the first part because Tyrese Halliburton, as you mentioned, not an original Pacer. They made a big trade to get him. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, not an original Thunder. They had to make a big trade to get him. The Pistons aren't really set up in that spot. Not saying that they have to, but their star is homegrown in Cade. So they haven't really had a chance to even kickstart the rebuild like those other two teams did, right? They just traded their best player for their next best superstar, a guy that ended up being better in Halliburton and Shai. The Pistons didn't have that opportunity, so they have to do it differently than those two teams did. I think doing a trade, though, is still the play for the Pistons. Not a superstar trade, but fully running it back, I don't necessarily love based on the outlook of the Eastern Conference next season. It is wide open.
But is it fully running it back if you're getting Jaden Ivey healthy for an entire season? Like, it's almost like you get an addition for no cost. Because They had him through the first chunk of the season until January 3rd. But January 3rd is basically exactly when the Pistons got hot and transformed themselves into a completely new team. I don't think those two things correlate to where no Ivy meant they were a better basketball team. It might have been a little bit of it. But I think now that they've had the confidence and installed that in each other and set a new expectation, adding Ivy to the situation is basically like making a trade this offseason. Now you get another dynamic scorer who can also initiate, handle the ball a little bit, so there's not as much pressure on Cade to basically run the offense at all times. Hopefully Asar can take another step up too. Adding Jaden Ivey, I think, is your offseason move. And you can add another veteran the way that Langdon did last year with Beasley, with Hardaway, with Dennis Schroeder at the deadline. Because that's what Langdon's been really good at, is adding these little pieces that actually go a long way. Can they win a finals next year? No, but hey, nobody probably would have said that about the Pacers last year either. And now they're up 1-0 in the finals. So I do think there is an aspect of be patient, wait until the time is right, wait until you're within striking distance, and don't get ahead of yourself. If that is the new era of the NBA, rather than let's go try to make a superstar pairing, then the Pistons are doing things the right way. The Pistons,
and Langdon has seemed to take that approach as well.
Correct. And that's kind of what he did in New Orleans too. I know nothing worked out there, but that was mostly because nobody could stay healthy. Everyone that he brought in, his team drafted, they're loaded with talent down there. They just can't put it all together on the court.
The two-way wings that Shams talked about in that clip.
Correct. Cade fits into that description. Ivy, not as much.
That's what I was going to go next with you. Like, that's the part that I still want the Pistons to make a trade for. Go get a true two-way wing that can help. How many two-way guys on this team truly can you say are good on both sides? Like Cade,
Asar. That's probably it.
And Asar is still developing offensively, of course.
Yeah.
Like Ron Holland, you hope eventually can become a good two-way player.
Yeah,
Malik Beasley is obviously mostly an offensive guy.
But look at these two teams too. Like both teams ended up playing 9 guys plus yesterday, and there was no garbage time. Like you have to have depth to get to the finals too.
Oh,
Again,
for sure.
There's no. Hey, we got LeBron and AD. The rest will figure itself out. That doesn't work anymore. We saw that with LeBron and Luka. It didn't work. You need depth. That's why I'm also hesitant to trade any of these pieces like Ivy. You need to be able to have depth. I don't want to trade Ron Holland for Giannis. I don't want to put together that kind of package. Okay, don't clip that because that's ridiculous. You know what I mean. But I don't want to give up the depth. Yeah, I know what I said, but I think everyone knows what I meant. I don't want to take 4 players or 3 players and go make a 3-for-1 deal because you need the depth. You need 8-9 guys to win a finals. I think that's what this year's playoff run has shown us, which again has not been the case in years past. Tobias Harris, I don't think can be on this team if they're going to win a finals, if I'm being quite honest, but that's someone you can move at the deadline. That's someone you can just kind of let go next offseason. One thing I think we know is Cade is that guy, right? It's just to be determined whether or not Ivy can be the second best player on a championship team. I'm going to lean no right now. I think Asar is the answer in that department, or maybe the answer to that is not on the team right now. But if the answer is, hey, he's not on the team right now, I don't think Trajan Langdon or Pistons fans should be in a rush to add that piece ASAP. And when I say ASAP, I mean this offseason.
Okay, but here's the issue. We talked about it, and Shams mentioned it with the second apron stuff. Cade's contract is about to go up a gazillion because of him making an All-NBA team.
It goes from 25% of the cap to 30% of the cap.
And then Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren are both due for contracts. So
they're not both getting a new contract, though. This offseason, there's no way they're both getting one.
Okay, then they are next offseason.
Potentially.
I mean, they just will, right? My point here is, like, I get you want to be patient and everything, but at the same time, do you really trust this core to be the core? Because it's hard to say. You don't really know yet, but you kind of have to know because these guys are going to need to be paid. Obviously, Asar is going to be paid the following offseason, but to me, I think you use that Tobias Harris contract now before it expires because then you're just not going to have that money if you let him walk eventually. You use that contract now to go acquire a guy that is an upgrade and can help right now. That's where I'm at. I still don't think it's the superstar trade or anything, obviously, but it's a good chunk of salary at the $26 million or whatever it is to go get an upgraded player that can help this season before you just lose out on that money because you have to pay all the young guys.
I don't disagree with that. If they end up moving on from Tobias Harris and landing a piece, I'm not going to be mad at that. I'm just saying, like, I'm so sick and tired of seeing the Devin Booker stuff, the Giannis stuff.
Right.
I guess the Zion stuff has really hit the brakes here with some of the stuff that's been going on with him in the last couple weeks. That's also insane. But right when the offseason started, it was like, the Pistons are a Giannis team. Pistons are a Kevin Durant team. No, they're not. Makes
it's just
no sense.
Easy to write in the young team that had a better season than expected as like the next superstar destination. You know,
Yeah,
like Houston's had it all over them for the last couple of years.
Right, but that actually has some, like, I feel like life to it.
Yeah, they just
with
have
the
too many
Durant
guys
stuff.
almost.
With the Pistons, I just think it's totally different. And in an Eastern Conference, I don't think you need to, like, I don't know. I think there's a chance the Pistons could be playing in an Eastern Conference Finals next year. And it's like, how did they get here? That was
So
fast.
wouldn't that be your argument to go make a big trade then, since it's so open?
No, I'm saying I think they could do it with the team they have now.
I know, but that's what I'm like. Why not ensure that? Why not go next level?
You're basically using my Tigers argument against me.
Yes,
Why not take it a step further?
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Because it can hurt you in the long run in the NBA way more than it can hurt you in the long run in Major League Baseball.
For sure.
Because once you're out of picks and once you're out of cap space, you're done. That's your team.
Yeah,
you don't get to
that's
make
your
moves
team.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Pistons just got their picks back after this draft. They're not going to have a first round pick this year. Then they're finally going to have all their picks back.
They can actually trade, yeah.
And if you do it too early, all of a sudden you're locked into that team.
Don't touch me, I'm sizzling.
That's what happened to the Bucks. 989-837-6125. We'll take a trip around the league when we come back. It is the Ben Bosscher Show, a Friday, a Scooble Friday, on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
Mountain View Restaurant at Apple Mountain, where casual elegance meets breathtaking views. Our new expanded menu features a wide variety of dishes to satisfy every palate, from fresh seasonal options to your all-time favorites. Whether you're hosting a client lunch, enjoying happy hour, or planning a date night, we have the perfect setting for every occasion. Don't miss our weekly features and refreshing beverages. In the summer, dine al fresco on our beautiful patio and soak in the scenery. Mountain View, where great food meets spectacular views.
From making athletic footwear stronger and lighter to powering the future of electric racing vehicles, material science and R&D are the MVPs of innovation. At Dow, we collaborate with customers and partners to tackle a wide range of sports product challenges with cutting-edge advancements in technology. Dow's innovations can help to improve performance and sustainability throughout the world of sports. Dow, at the intersection of sports and science.
A beautiful yard increases both the value of your home and the quality of your life. Commercially, landscaping creates a positive impression of your professionalism and commitment to community, customers, and employees. Cervinsky Sod has been creating and maintaining outdoor spaces for 56 years. Whether your project is residential or commercial, the team at Cervinsky Sod Services will work with you to build and meet budgets and finish the job with top quality and in a timely manner. To get a quote, call 989-835-4810 or visit CervinskySodService.com.
Something happens when we can't be our true selves. You can hear it in our laughs. There's the half-hearted chuckle. The courtesy conference caller.
Yeah, great.
And of course, the I'm only laughing because I'm dating your daughter.
Oh, that's so true.
If you want to laugh for real, try having some Miller Lite with some friends. It works. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin beer.
Make every trip to Dow Diamond unforgettable with a Great Lakes Loons ticket package. Choose a 5-game or 10-game plan and enjoy priority seating, food and drink credits, and exclusive discounts on merchandise. Want even more? Go for a bronze, silver, or gold membership and get the VIP treatment. Bigger discounts, exclusive events, bonus food and drink credit, or free parking. Great games, great perks, and great memories with your hometown team. Starting with something as small as a 5-game plan at $62. Visit loons.com to secure your package today.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think replay should be taken out of basketball entirely. I think 2 super conferences would fix college football. I think the best football, basketball, and baseball players of all time are currently playing. I think the day the Lions win the Super Bowl is going to be the greatest day of my life. I think Monty Williams sabotaged the Pistons on purpose, and you can't convince me otherwise. I think Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches of all time, but most definitely cheated, got caught, and ran away. And I think you should tune into the Ben Bosscher Show, fueled by Forward Energy, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt if you agree with anything I just said.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, welcome back in. Ben Bosscher Show, hour number 2, in the process of getting going. Let's take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
All right, let's get it. Around the league time. We've been doing some fun around the league segments lately, Ben.
And
I got a fun one for you today.
That's the goal.
You've done this before.
Uh-huh.
But we're going to be comparing Jared Goff to the other quarterbacks of the NFL and saying, who would you rather have, Jared Goff or this guy on the Lions this season?
We did this last year. It blew up on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok or wherever else we posted it. We're doing it again. We'll see how many teams we can fit in here in, 9 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah, a lot can change in a year as well. Once again, this is not like a potential trade. This is for this season. Would you rather have Jared Goff on the Lions or this QB?
Okay.
Ready?
I am ready.
Starting the NFC. How about J.J. McCarthy?
No, come on. Jared Goff. We haven't seen anything from J.J. McCarthy. I'm high on him, but no, we haven't seen him play a snap. It'd have to be Jared Goff.
Jared Goff or Caleb Williams? Do you feel the potential of Caleb Williams maybe breaking out in year 2?
I do, but it's still potential. We've seen it from Jared Goff. I'm not going to be shocked if Caleb Williams... I thought the world of Caleb Williams going into the draft and still after the draft. And last year, it definitely sold a tiny bit of my stock.
Wow, you're thinking long on this one.
Yeah, I'd rather have Caleb Williams.
Chat, clip that.
I would.
Jared Goff or Jordan Love?
Jared Goff. I think Jordan Love's the most overrated quarterback in the league.
Interesting. Okay. How about Super Bowl winning quarterback Jalen Hurts or Jared Goff?
I mean, it has to be Hurts at this point, right? I don't think Hurts could run the Lions offense. I think they'd have to basically create a new offense with Jalen Hurts at the quarterback position, but with how many weapons they have, they'd be able to figure it out. He's got a very specific skill set. He's not a guy you want sitting back in the pocket, reading a defense and dissecting it the way that a Goff does.
Yeah.
But he's a weapon with his legs, man. So I'd probably go Jalen Hurts.
If the tush push was banned, would you still pick Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, because you can still
Okay.
QB sneak it or just run QB powers, Cam Newton, Auburn style.
Yeah. All right, keep it rolling in the NFC East. Dak Prescott or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff, for sure.
Yeah! Here we go!
When you put
Shout
that
out
in there?
Dak. A couple weeks ago. It's pretty fun. How about the newest member of the NFC East? Russell Wilson, I guess we'll pick from the Giants?
Goff.
Yeah. All right, and then the one that people were kind of flaming you for the other day. Jaden Daniels or Jared Goff?
Who was flaming me for this?
There's people in the comments saying you're taking Daniels over Goff.
Yeah. What? Jaden Daniels over Jared Goff? Yes, I'm taking Jaden Daniels over Jared Goff. I don't even think that's a discussion, is it? Everyone should want to trade Goff one
Clearly
for one.
It is
With
a discussion for some people.
That's insane. Did you watch what Jalen Daniels did to it?
I'm not saying it's my opinion.
Jaden Daniels destroyed the Lions last season. Jaden Daniels, I think, is already one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I'd probably say he's the best quarterback in the NFC at this point. Maybe that's an overreaction to 17, 18 games, but he was unstoppable. The Lions had no answer for him. Yes, I would trade Jared Goff for Jaden Daniels. What are we talking about?
Yeah, he's for sure in the discussion for best quarterback in the NFC. Would totally agree with you on that. All right, let's move on to everybody's favorite guy that got paid big time this offseason. Brock Purdy or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff. I like Brock Purdy. I think he's a little bit more than a system quarterback, but now that he's been paid, it's like, you got to keep doing this to an even higher level. And we've already seen
high dollar amount.
Yeah, and we've already seen Jared Goff do it at a high level. So, Jared Goff.
I do think Brock Purdy pretty good last year. Like last year, he had a pretty good season.
Pretty good for a 6-win team, yeah.
Right.
I agree with you. It's pretty good for a 6-win team.
Sam Darnold or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff. We saw Sam Darnold poo-poo his pants in every big game that mattered.
All right, here's the most controversial one. Matt Stafford or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff. Matt Stafford could break down any day. I'm not rolling the dice there.
Okay. Kyler Murray or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff. Kyler Murray, I don't think is someone you can hand the keys to your franchise to. He's a fun guy. He'll put up fantasy points, but not someone I'm looking at as a winner in this league, if you will.
Baker Mayfield or Jared Goff?
I respect everything Baker Mayfield does, but the answer is Jared Goff here.
Yeah. And then we got some easy ones. Bryce Young or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff.
Michael Penix or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff.
And whoever is playing quarterback for the Saints or Jared Goff?
The Saints. No, I'm just kidding. Jared Goff. Bryce
I don't know who that is.
Bryce Hainer.
Yeah.
Is that his first name?
Jake
Kaner. Jake Kaner.
Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck. I mean, you got a lot of different options there. Taysom Hill. That's a good one. Versatile. I don't see Jared Goff playing tight end.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's move over to the AFC. The newest member of the AFC North, Aaron Rodgers or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff.
Yes, that's what inspired this topic today, now that we know all the starters. How about your boy, Joe Burrow or Jared Goff?
Joe Burrow, as much as it pains me to say, I think I take it back what I said about Jordan Love. Joe Burrow is the most overrated quarterback in the league. I would take Joe Burrow.
So he's
over
overrated,
Jared Goff,
but
though.
you're taking him over Goff.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like overrated to me. You sound like you're really backing that up.
He's just like, I see him throwing. This is like the same way, like, sometimes I see Kobe thrown around into, like, top 3, top 4, top 5 conversations. Like, what? Like, what are we talking about?
And
that's how I feel about
Ohio
Joe Burrow.
too, you know?
Yeah, that's how I feel about Joe Burrow. Like,
Ohio sucks.
You have him 4? What? Crazy.
All right, how about Lamar or Jared Goff?
Lamar.
How about whoever's playing quarterback for the Browns or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff.
Josh Allen or Jared Goff?
Josh Allen.
Justin Fields or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff.
This will be a tough one for you. Drake May or Jared Goff?
Ooh, I love me some Drake May. But if we're just talking about...
dude.
Relax. If we're just talking about this season, Jared Goff.
Yeah, even though the Drake May year 2 breakout, I know you're pretty
It's
expecting
happening.
that.
Don't even... I'm not predicting it. I'm telling you it's happening.
How about Tua or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff.
How about Daniel Jones / Anthony Richardson or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff.
Notice I put Daniel Jones first because Richardson injured currently in training camp for the Colts.
Shocker.
All right, this could be a tough one. CJ Stroud or Jared Goff?
Yeah, this one I'm going CJ Stroud. If he has any sort of offensive line, I think he inserts himself right back into the conversation of one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league. He has every tool you could ask for. He's got the legs, he's got the mobility, even though he's not going to kill you on the ground and put up the raw numbers, the rushing numbers that like a Lamar would, but in terms of extending the play and buying himself some time and being able to make any throw on the field, yeah, he's lights out, man. CJ Stroud.
Chance to go back-to-back non-Goffs here. Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff?
I'm a Lawrence guy. I like Lawrence. I still believe in him a little bit. Now that he finally has a head coach that's an offensive play caller, I think we're going to finally see some sort of life from Trevor Lawrence, but it's still Jared Goff.
Fair. How about first overall pick, Cam Ward or Jared Goff? I know you're pretty high on Cam Ward.
I'm a Cam Ward guy too, but again, he's never played, so Jared Goff.
Let's move to the last division here, the AFC West. Geno Smith or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff.
And then we got some tough ones. I don't know if our boy Logan's still in the chat. Bo Nix or Jared Goff?
This is not a tough one. Jared Goff.
All right, Justin Herbert or Jared Goff?
Justin Herbert. I don't think this is controversial whatsoever. Herbert's another one of those guys that... Herbert reminds me a lot of Rodgers in a way where it's like he's not going to destroy you with his legs, but as soon as you forget about it, he will. He'll pick up that first down and get out of bounds. Every throw he makes is a laser. One of the, like, just if we're talking just throwers of the football, one of the best ones in the league. I know the postseason resume is not there, but if you were to put him into the Lions system, I do think they get a little bit better.
And he's huge, too.
Enormous.
Yeah.
Has the ability to get away from people, too. Jared Goff does not.
Last up, Patrick Mahomes or Jared Goff?
You know, Jared Goff is 2-0 against Patrick Mahomes, Kyle.
Wow.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that's a pretty obvious one there. And that's it around the league. So you picked
that was
9
all 31
quarterbacks better than Jared Goff. So does that mean Jared Goff is the 10th best quarterback in the NFL?
This sounds about right?
I think that sounds about right, yeah.
Let's see what the people think. 989-837-6125. You can leave a YouTube chat as well. Jared Goff, 10th best quarterback in the NFL. I think most Lions fans are going to tell me I'm crazy for some of those. The Caleb Williams one, I think, will piss people off the most.
Yes, that one will for sure make people mad. This one would make people mad from my perspective, but, like, I'm still a guy that I might lean Stafford over Goff. I mean, even last season, it's just I get so impressed by Stafford still to this day. I don't know if he's better for the Lions' current system, but just if I was ranking quarterbacks, if I know Stafford is healthy week 1, I think I'd rather have Stafford.
No, I mean, that's fair. There's always going to be that argument, but because you're right, Stafford is still a pretty lethal thrower, but I'll go Goff for now just because age consideration, all that good stuff. Okay, with that being said, we got to talk about Kerry Carpenter still, if that's okay with you, Kyle. So we're going to take a quick pause. When we come back, we'll keep things rolling here. It's the Ben Bosscher Show, hour number 2, still in the works, right here on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Lisa Tarkington, Executive Director of LEAD, formerly known as Self Love Beauty.
The year 2020, it was April, it was the month after like the big shutdown. I called my mom and I was like, what am I doing? I have no money. Yeah, like I have no 401k right now. Like I have, I'm just making it, just getting by at this point and the world just shut down. And she asked me, do you really want this? And I was like, I want nothing more than to see this succeed. She was like, then you'll figure it out. And I did. I don't know how I did sometimes, right? But I did. And I think that comes back to discipline, never giving up on myself.
Listen to the full interview with Lisa on YouTube at 100.9 The Mitt. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
Detours driving you bonkers? Ideal Party Store's got your back with the Detour discount. While the Lafayette Bridge is closed, enjoy 10% off select craft beer 6-packs and 10% off 4 bottles of select wine, 750 milliliters or more, with 2 great locations, 908 North Johnson on the east side and 401 Salzburg on the west side. Ideal Party Store makes every detour worth it. Serving Bay City since 1934, we're here to make you the life of the party.
The doctors at Midland Eye Care want you to know a comprehensive eye exam is the only way to protect and detect vision-related disease. It goes beyond improved vision from glasses or contact lenses. Many common eye diseases such as glaucoma, diabetic eye disease, and age-related macular degeneration often have no warning signs. A dilated eye exam is the only way to detect these diseases in their early stages. This message brought to you by Midland Eye Care, your vision source on Eastman Road in Midland, on Cedar and Gladwin, and now on East Washington in Freeland.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace Hardware and Sports in downtown Midland has some extra savings for rewards members this month. Let's clean up that yard. Save $3 instantly on select Roundup and Ortho weed killers. Save $10 on 64-ounce spruce, weed, and grass killer. You know what season it is? Grilling season. Free assembly and delivery on grills, $399 and up from brands like Weber and Traeger. Need that deck touched up? Do it and save $10 instantly on a gallon of Cabot exterior stain.
Some nights are just different. The energy and feeling of being part of something bigger. That's what a Great Lakes Loons group outing is all about.
Whether it's your company, your family, or your best friends, the perfect space is waiting for you at Dow Diamond.
Relax in a private group venue with catering and wait service, or take in the action from a spacious pavilion where an all-you-can-eat buffet and amazing views bring everyone together.
With group packages starting at just $15 per person, it's more than just a game. It's an affordable shared experience and night out.
The best memories start here with your hometown team. Just visit loons.com.
We're in your town, your school, your huddle. 100.9 The Mitt is here for sports fans in the Great Lakes Bay region. From the hardwoods of Saginaw to Midland's Friday Night Lights. From the streets of Bay City to Freeland, Frankenmuth, and Hemlock. We roll through Beaverton, Auburn, Pinconning, Essexville, and Shepherd. All the way to Gladwin, Birch Run, Coleman, and Bridgeport. This is your sports station. High school, college, NFL, the Loons. It's all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan sports leader.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Midland Area Community Foundation is dedicated to strengthening our community through generosity and connection, supporting local nonprofits, scholarships, and projects that make Midland a better place to live, work, and play. Your donations help fund vital programs in education, health, the arts, and more right here at home. Partner with the foundation to leave a lasting legacy and create positive changes for generations to come. Get involved, get back, or learn more at midlandareacf.org. Together, we build a stronger Midland, one gift, one idea, and one heart at a time. Speaking of the Midland area community, there's that run walk downtown Midland this weekend, tomorrow. There's a 5K walk, run, 10K, I believe, as well. I didn't sign up for that. I'm not a runner as much, but I will be at the Midland Community Center this weekend, getting some good iron pumps in, you know.
That's the plan.
You
for
doing
the
any?
weekend?
Yeah. You got any weekend plans?
Yeah, I'll be calling some high school softball this weekend.
Sounds exhilarating.
Playoffs time going on, so that's what I got going on.
That sounds exhilarating.
It does, yeah, it really is.
So, wait, how often do you do that?
Last weekend had a baseball game the other night, and then they're in regionals this weekend. So next weekend's the final week of it.
How are the parents when you do these games? Because you probably don't deal with them as much up in the booth or wherever you're calling the games from. But are the parents?
The baseball is weird because I'm like the baseball game the other night. I'm right behind home plate, like right behind the fence. That's where I was set up at.
Oh, so you can't. Okay, not that you would say anything bad about like the high school teams anyway, but. Like, are the high school baseball parents crazy?
They can. Oh yeah, I will say the other night at the game I was doing, the parents were chirping really hard, like just at the umps, you know, or at the ump for bad calls. Everything's a bad call, obviously. Right. Everything is a missed. Call it consistently. You know, it's really rough.
There's no one I envy. There's no one I envy less than umps and refs. Honest, like, don't get me wrong, I'm sitting on the TV screaming at them too, but like to actually put yourself in that situation. I remember umping a game when I was like 15 years old, 14 years old, like a Little League game, and just getting ripped on by parents for like 2 straight hours. It's
yes.
Like, I'm 14. Like, I'm not going to be a professional umpire later. Back off. Some of these parents are like crazy, man.
Little League baseball is the worst sport for parents.
No. It's up
don't
there.
Think so?
It's probably on the Mount Rushmore.
Because here's why I say it's the worst. Because I think high school baseball is bad too, but it's a better playing level. Most of the time, it's an adult umping the game too, and it's just better players. But with the youth, the Little League, like you said, it's like a 15-year-old kid behind home plate.
Right.
And he's getting paid like $20 to be there. If that.
It's
or
a
he's
lot
getting
of money
some
for a
community
15-year-old.
service hours for, whatever.
That's like a whole foot-long Subway sandwich plus chips and a drink.
Of course, yeah. Maybe not back then. But the parents are just ruthless to these kids, man. It's like, that's not why the reason your kid struck out, man. You know?
He went down swinging, ma'am.
And it's just, what do you think is the worst? I have a few others.
The worst parents in youth sports?
It could just be any sports.
I don't even think it's close. I'm a little biased here. It is 1,000,000% wrestling parents. Have you ever been to a youth wrestling tournament?
I don't.
You run into some crazies at these tournaments. Like, scary. To the point where, like, you're looking over and you're a little, like, so I wrestled growing up, you know, based on my 6'3" frame.
Really? You did?
Yeah, my 6'3" frame.
Perfect
scrawny
build
little
for
guy.
Wrestling.
Yeah. You'll like look around and some of these parents are so intense. And it's like, you get nervous, like even walking out there. There's a reason I didn't wrestle past like 6th grade. I was like, maybe basketball's a little bit better for me. But some of the parents, man, like, you ever see the clips of like them just running onto the mat and like throwing the opponent off of their kid and freaking out on, like, they're crazy people at these tournaments. I swear.
If we're talking about crazy parents and not necessarily like going at the officials here, I think cheer parents are the craziest.
What? I guess
it's cheer competitions. Okay, the reason I say they're the craziest is because, like, so I've done PA at a couple cheer events over the last couple years, And these cheer events are big. They're like 12 schools there, and they pack this place. Like, it is some of the most packed high school events you'll ever go to. And the parents in the crowd are the ones starting the chants with the cheer team. They're on their feet, stomping the crowd, like starting these blue and gold or whatever. It's scary, dude. Like, it is intimidating. I look up behind me and I'm like, oh my God, I'm terrified. It's like a 50-year-old dad starting this chant, like, who are we? You know,
that feels a little culty to me.
It does feel very culty. That is the perfect way to describe it.
Everyone's standing up, just doing that means they've seen it enough times to where it's
like they practice it for sure. Like
into
the parents
brain.
are, and every school sits in their own section of the bleachers, so they're all in like a spot together,
so they can cheer as well. You'd have to imagine like
the cheerleaders cheer back at them. It's a scary scene.
You'd have to imagine like 95% of the parents, or at least like one of the parents at a cheer event, also cheered when back in the day.
Oh, absolutely.
So like they're kind of like reliving it a little bit. And I mean, that's probably the thing
when
for
the
most
dads
sports.
get in on it.
Oh, and you start to hear some of the deeper voices get involved in the cheers, and you're just in the middle of it, like, what is going on? I can't say I've ever been to one of these though.
The cheer parents take that stuff seriously.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, that sounds a little scary. I'd say, okay, so if it's Little League parents, wrestling parents, cheer parents.
I have another one.
What's the last one on the Mount Rushmore of crazy
that would
youth
be the
sports
4
parents?
right there. But
we just said
to
3.
make an argument. We said 4, right? Little League baseball, cheer, wrestling.
Yeah, 3.
Oh, I
1,
think
2,
it's
3.
Else. My bad.
No.
I think that youth basketball is the worst for, not the worst, but as far as yelling at the officials, because one, they're really close.
Yeah.
And the big one is that no one knows the rules. None of the parents know the rules. And I will stand by that. No one knows what a travel is.
What age group are we talking about? Because the difference between like 8-year-olds and 14-year-olds in basketball like might be the biggest difference in any.
That's a good point.
Any sport.
Okay, not quite as little as 8-year-olds. At the point where they actually, because they don't call every travel. They don't call every double dribble.
Well,
and
the game
stuff
would take
with
4
the young
hours.
Kids. I'm talking like middle school, even high school, honestly.
Okay. Like
the parents that are the ones yelling, they don't know the rules. You didn't see the angle of that foul, George, up in the crowd. You know, but you're screaming that that's not a foul. Like,
hey, lay off George, man. George
just
had a tough day, 9 to 5 at the job. He's just trying to unwind a little bit. Lay off George.
He's trying to unwind by watching his son lose to their rival school. Right. That's a perfect way to do it. That's the part I think that frustrates me the most, because you can argue ball and strikes. Everyone can say, oh, that was a strike, that was a ball. You know, that's an easy one to tell.
Yeah.
But like a travel on a Euro step when all the people are up in the crowd, what? That's a travel. Like, come on, man.
I guess I never ran into that problem when I was like doing like ref stuff for like summer camps and stuff. I guess the parents were a little easier there, but like I can't imagine it once you get into like AAU stuff. I've never really been to
every time there's an
AAU
inch of
tournament.
contact, the fans freak out or the parents freak out
Well,
because
that's
their
a
kid got
byproduct.
bumped.
That's a byproduct of some of the stuff you see on TV sometimes.
Right, of course.
That was kind of an old person take. I kind of regret saying that.
It totally was. Old head Ben Bosscher.
What are some of the other ones though? I guess we can ask the chat too. The worst sports parents.
Yeah.
I think it's wrestling, and I don't even think it's close.
I think the worst is the Little League, just from the, oh my God, I feel so bad for the umps.
Yeah, because Susie, who's never watched a baseball game in her life, is watching her son strike out, calling it
a strike!
That's a strike! And then they get all like crazy about it. It's like, boo! They start booing a 15-year-old behind the dish.
Yes, exactly.
I umped like 3 games, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. I'm never doing it again. Because you just have parents, coaches, everyone screaming at you the entire time.
My mom used to always be like, you should get into reffing youth basketball games.
No.
Like, just to make some extra money on the weekends.
Never.
I'm like, Mom, there is not an amount of money you could pay me to get me to do that. To have to deal with the parents.
No. At any level, yeah, that sounds horrendous. We've got one comment that says AAU and travel sports are the worst. Every coach and parent trying to get their kid to go to the next level. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that one's especially because there's extra pressure on the parents because they're paying, $500 for their kid to be on this AAU team.
Right.
And they need him to do good, and, it's, or her, yeah.
Another comment, another text that says from Patrick, definitely has to be youth hockey. Patrick, tell us about youth hockey a little bit, because I don't know
about
anything.
The youth hockey scene.
If I had to guess, maybe this is a really bad stereotype. I didn't grow up with hockey, really. But if I had to guess, I don't even know if I want to say this anymore. I feel like the youth hockey scene, the parents, there's higher chance that beer is involved, if that makes sense. I don't know why that comes to mind, and maybe that's like a terrible thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But
yeah, I have no idea.
I just I don't know. I think a beer league.
Up, though?
No.
Football.
It's because you
can't
hear,
why, though?
You can't really hear the crowd. You can't really hear the parents as much.
That's why baseball, basketball is so rough, because the parents are so close to the action.
The only thing that you could take away from that you could look at and be like, that sucks about being a ref, is all you hear, or in football at least, is all you hear is like, that's holding, or just something like that. Or you see like moms like breaking down crying because their kid just got pancaked.
Well, that's a little bit different. I wouldn't classify that being as the worst parent. Your kid gets crushed on the field. That's kind of concerning.
I never said it was the worst type of parent. But I just don't think you deal with it as much in football. You deal with the coaches maybe a little bit more, but I don't think that compares to basketball and apparently hockey. I'd love to know a little bit more about youth hockey parents. I don't know anything about them. All right, I got a little sidetracked there. That is okay. When we come back, Kerry Carpenter, he needs to play more. That's next to your Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
It's time to remember that. With Kyle Sandell.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent located downtown Midland. MLB All-Star voting got underway yesterday, and the Tigers are in a spot where they're going to have several All-Stars this season. There's some obvious ones. Tarek Skubal will for sure be an All-Star once again. Riley Green will likely make back-to-back All-Star appearances. But then there's a few other guys that you would think might have a chance to be starters or get voted in as reserves. Names like Will Vest come to mind. Gleyber Torres has a pretty good shot at second base. But the guy that I'm vouching for to be the starter at his position in the American League in the All-Star game is none other than Spencer Torkelson. Now, you look at the initial numbers and you think, no way Spencer Torkelson makes it over the Vlad Guerreros or Paul Goldschmidts in the American League. Just a .230 batting average right now for Torque. But he leads all the American League first basemen in home runs with 14, and he's hit at the heart of an order of a Tigers team that has been the best in Major League Baseball this season. Third best OPS in the American League right now, better than Vlad Guerrero. And being the prime right-handed bat on the best team in Major League Baseball, leading that team in homers with 14, while bouncing back from the type of criticism and season he had a year ago. I know all that storyline stuff doesn't go into it, but Spencer Torkelson has a really good chance to make his first All-Star game this season, and I believe he should be the starter in the American League at first base. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland.
It is the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. This month's recipient is Kari Kiefer from Freeland High School. With a 3.97 GPA, Kari is a three-sport athlete competing in cross-country, track, and basketball. Kari is a leader on the floor and talked on what she thinks makes an effective leader.
I think to be a great leader, you have to be able to hold each other accountable, like being able to give constructive criticism, but also a positive with it. Anytime I kind of talk with my teammates, I try to give them a positive if I'm going to give them a negative too, just to kind of balance it out and keep that relationship strong.
Kari scored over 1,500 points in her 4 seasons at Freeland. She'll continue her basketball and academic career at Northwood University. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete for our scholarship program, visit 1009themitt.com.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Lisa Tarkington, Executive Director of LEAD, formerly known as Self Love Beauty.
The year 2020, it was April, it was the month after like the big shutdown. I called my mom and I was like, what am I doing? I have no money. I have no 401k right now. Like I have, I'm just making it, just getting by at this point, and the world just shut down. And she asked me, do you really want this? And I was like, I want nothing more than to see this succeed. She was like, then you'll figure it out. And I did. I don't know how I did sometimes, right? But I did. And I think that comes back to discipline, never giving up on myself.
Listen to the full interview with Lisa on YouTube at 100.9 The Mitt. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
Transform your outdoor space with Maple Hill Nursery. Whether you're a gardening enthusiast or just looking to relax in style, they have everything you need. From premium polywood furniture that never needs painting to top quality plants and trees, Maple Hill Nursery has it all. Plus, they offer free setup and delivery on in-stock barbecue grills. Visit them today just north of Midland Mall or check out their website for pro tips and expert advice. Maple Hill Nursery, making your yard the place to be.
When the summer heat is on, keep your cool with Answer Heating and Cooling. Our expert team specializes in fast, reliable air conditioning repairs, installations, and maintenance. Stay comfortable all season long with top-notch cooling solutions and simply outstanding service. Plus, with financing options and special rebates, cooling your home has never been more affordable. Answer Heating and Cooling, where comfort is our priority. Try our new schedule online option or call us today.
Another episode takes over Dow Diamond. Star Wars Night with the Great Lakes Loons returns Saturday, June 14th. Immerse yourself in the echoes of the Empire saga throughout the game, culminating with an epic fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. Tickets are selling fast. Visit loons.com before they're gone.
Thank the maker.
This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, welcome back into the Ben Bosscher Show right here on 100.9 The Mitt. You just heard that. I don't know why I repeated it. Kerry Carpenter got taken out of yesterday's game in the 8th inning, right? They pinch hit Andy Ibanez for Kerry Carpenter with the idea that Andy Ibanez is the left-handed pitching killer. And that's what he was for the most part last season, but this season has been pretty disappointing for Andy Ibanez in these pinch hit opportunities versus the left-handed pitching. He's OPSing just 681. That is not good enough to be taking Kerry Carpenter out of the game, especially in a tie game when later on, a few innings later in extras, Andy Ibanez got another at-bat against a right-handed pitcher. The move was already made, though. You couldn't put Kerry Carpenter back in the game. Obviously, Kerry Carpenter's been lights out against right-handed pitching for a couple of years now. They take him out way too early. It backfires on them later. I think A.J. Hinch has a supercomputer brain, and he's ahead of it most of the time, 2 steps ahead of the other manager. But I am sick and tired of watching Andy Ibanez come in for Kerry Carpenter. He needs to get more at-bats versus left-handed pitching, especially in the 8th inning when you're tied and know the possibility is, in fact, going to extra innings. Andy Ibanez has come up clutch here a couple times. In the past 2 seasons, specifically last year down the stretch. But he's 1 for 12 in late close game situations so far this season. That's a very small sample size. But I just think the Tigers have outgrown their Andy Ibanez. They've outgrown Andy Ibanez, yeah, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. He's just not producing.
If Ibanez didn't have this 5 years experience thing where they can't send him down to the minors without him a chance to go to another team, they probably would have elected to keep Henry Malloy on the major league roster over him, right? At least
totally agree.
Henry Malloy's OBP has been really good this year. Obviously, his numbers aren't phenomenal or anything, but he's been a better pinch hit AB than Ibanez has been.
Correct, because he's never going to swing at something outside the zone, ever.
Right, exactly. And, I mean, the Kerry thing is you talked about this the other day. You didn't want him to play the next couple days because of this hammy thing going on. So maybe they didn't want him to, bat a full game or something.
No, but that doesn't make any sense if you're going to start him and put him in situations to where hey, you might have to turn this single into a double or you're on for you know how aggressive they are in the base paths. If you're putting him in the starting lineup, I think the idea is he's healthy and ready to go. Maybe you don't put him out in the outfield just to limit it, but if he's out there, he should be fine. You take out Kerry in the 8th inning though, and you know that there's a possibility in 9 outs or 8 outs, you're going to have to get another at bat for this spot. And when Andy Ibanez comes up in the heart of the order, it's a little bit deflating at this point in the season because it's all right, here crossing our fingers hoping for magic again, even though against left-handed pitching, what he's supposed to be a killer at, 681 OPS. That's bad. That's not even average. That's bad compared to what, not even compared to anything, but definitely compared to what he was doing last year against the left-handed pitching. It just hasn't lived up to what it is this year. And if he's not going to be hitting, I get it. He can play second. He can play third. There's a little bit of position versatility there, but that kind of seems to be the direction they're taking with Colt Keith. Once they're totally comfortable playing Colt Keith at third base in a pinch or even just straight up, which is what we got a little taste of yesterday, I don't see any reason Andy Ibanez needs to be on this team. I would be DFAing him and calling up Justin Henry Malloy. That would be,
you would do that now.
Be the move.
Like the leash is fully gone at this point.
Colt Keith officially played third yesterday. What's the point of having Ibanez on the team? He's a .1 WAR. So like, okay, maybe he's a little tiny bit above average defensively, but nothing marginal, nothing substantial. So I don't see a reason he needs to be out there. Now you lose an infielder if you bring up Justin Henry Malloy. But again, this is really just for a pinch hit opportunity. Ibanez is rarely in the starting lineup anyway.
He really doesn't start. Like last year, he was the leadoff guy against lefties every game, basically. And now he doesn't really even start against lefties. He just comes in certain ABs. So, like, what are the odds that Ibanez is off this team by All-Star break?
If I gave that to you at plus 100, would you take it? Or plus 150? Hell, I'd take it at plus 100.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's plus.
It's minus?
I think it all depends on when Matt Vierling comes back. Because when Matt Vierling comes back,
Vierling comes back.
I don't know, Dan Dickerson was talking on the radio yesterday as if, like, Matt Vierling for sure will be coming back. It's just a matter of when.
Really?
He was just discussing, like, hopefully they'll be getting Reese Olson and Matt Vierling back soon. You don't say that if there's a chance that they're going to be out the whole year. You know?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Once Vierling's back, I don't, like, goodbye Andy Ibanez. It's probably, he might never play in a Tigers uniform again because you can't send him down. He's got the 5 years of service.
I mean, you can send him down and hopefully he clears waivers, but I would assume a guy like that gets picked up.
Veteran guy.
That just
some team would like to have.
Yeah.
Some team would be happy to have him in the clubhouse at least.
He is a Major League Baseball player. I think so.
And the Tigers have just gotten to the point where, hey, they have the best record in baseball. They're going toe-to-toe versus the team with the second best record in baseball this weekend with Tarek Skubal on the mound tonight in those hideous Detroit jerseys. What are they called?
I'm not against them, dude. The City Connect jerseys.
It's the hats. The hats are what really piss me off. My point is, I don't think Andy Ibanez can be playing in these types of series, these situations where the moment is a little bit bigger than a guy who's probably a career 700 OPS if he's lucky. Let's see.
Well, and it doesn't help that literally every other player on the roster offensively has been a plus up to this point, or at least brings something to the table. Ibanez is the lone guy now on this offensive roster that just doesn't really do anything.
He's a 32-year-old with a career OPS of 693. Like, I think it's time to move on from Andy Ibanez. Thank you for what you did last year in the postseason. Thank you for the timely hits you had against the left-handed pitching this past calendar year. But this season, you have not lived up to the expectations whatsoever. I'm all set on Andy Ibanez, especially when it means you're taking Kerry Carpenter out of the game, knowing that there is a chance you go into extras and there is a chance Kerry Carpenter, whoever's in that spot, is going to get another at-bat. There's a chance the Tigers win yesterday if they just don't make that pinch hit in the 8th inning, because then Kerry Carpenter in the 10th gets an at-bat versus a right-handed pitcher. He's killed right-handed pitching for years. Killed it. I think it was. I wouldn't have made that substitution. I get it. AJ Hinch, super genius. Hard to really complain about the stuff he does because it's so surgical. But I thought that was, I won't quite say malpractice the way I was yesterday with Yzerman by any means, but I thought that was just getting ahead of himself a little bit, trying to do a little bit.
His food a little too much?
Yeah, just trying to do a little bit too much with the lineup, trying to insert himself a little bit too much. When last year I think that was necessary with the talent that they had on the roster, maybe the lack of. But now that they have all kind of established themselves into star players like Kerry, like Torkelson, like Riley Green, I think sometimes you just got to let the players play a little bit rather than putting your hands on every single thing and then your fingerprints are everywhere. I like it when he does it. I'm not sitting here saying don't get involved, don't be pinch hitting, but it's the Andy Ibanez situation where it's like, don't try to get too cute, AJ Hinch. Don't try to get too cute.
It might even be less of an Ibanez thing and more of a, can we just keep Kerry in the whole time from this point forward?
Correct. Especially if he's going to be the DH. If you're not getting anything from him in the outfield, which, to be honest, I don't want anything from him in the outfield. let's just have him at bat all the time. Like, never take him out of the game. Because right now there's not a guy that you put in that's like, hey, here's this left-handed killer. Other than kind of McKinstry, ironically, even though he's got the left-handed bat, but he's kind of got the reverse splits going.
Yeah.
And if he's not an everyday bat guy with Colt Keith potentially transitioning into third, then maybe that's a situation where you could pinch hit somebody off the bench. So we'll see. That's something to monitor tonight with Skubal on the mound. Should be a good one. Back-to-back good Skubal starts. Back to, like, I don't know.
Three straight good Skubal starts.
I don't know. You could go back like 8 straight Skubal
complete
starts.
Game, yeah. Well, yeah.
He's been a demon this year. So, yeah, we'll have more on that in hour number 3 of the show. Hey, I'm really excited for hour number 3 of the show. We end every show the same. We've got some more news to get to, and we've got a new segment for the end of the show as well. So, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about OTAs and everything that we learned coming up next. And then we're going to get to some fun stuff in the second half of the hour. Ben Bosscher Show, 109 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt. Tired of floors that snore? Walls that whisper, nah. Premier Tile in Midland is here to spice things up one tile at a time. They've got backsplash that'll make your pasta jealous.
What?
Shower walls that'll actually sing in the morning. And floors so fabulous, you'll consider eating dinner off them. Stylish, affordable, slightly obsessed with grout. Visit Premier Tile, located between Stark and Sturgeon, right off US 10, or at premiertilestone.com.
Get ready, Michigan. Field of Frames Fest presented by Dow is taking over Dow Diamond September 26th through 28th. It's the ultimate celebration of gaming, esports, and community, bringing together fans, families, players, and industry pros for a 3-day festival like no other. Watch elite teams battle in high-stakes competition, the Valorant Collegiate Invitational and Rocket League Semi-Pro Showdown, each with $10,000 prize pool, a $5,000 Super Smash Bros. Open Tournament, and a 17U Fortnite Youth Tournament with $1,000 up for grabs. There's live music, entertainment, and activities for all ages, plus educational panels and hands-on workshops for those interested in tech, business, and gaming industries. Tickets start at just $25, and kids 10 and under get in free. Don't miss your chance to be part of a landmark event. Visit fieldoframesfest.com to grab your tickets today. Field of Frames. Experience the element of gaming.
Step right up to Lucky Hot Dog Night with the Great Lakes Loons, Thursday, June 19th. Feeling lucky? Golden tickets will be hidden in the wrappers of our hot dogs throughout the game. It's Thirsty Thursday, presented by J.P. O'Sullivan Distributing, with half-off beer all night. And we'll have a post-game fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Mitt is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mitt and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt.
If you served, we want you to get the health care and benefits you earned. We want you to come to VA.
There's never been a better time to apply. Under a new law called the PACT Act, we've expanded VA care and benefits to millions of people who served and their survivors.
No matter where you served or how long you served, check out va.gov/PACT to learn more about what VA can do for you and your family.
Come to VA.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Welcome back into the Ben Bosscher Show. Hey, before we get into the OTA stuff, OTAs have wrapped up. We know everything now. I guess we don't know everything. That'd be pretty cool if we did. But everything that we did learn, I want to go over here in just a second. But just to circle back to the conversation we had earlier in the 10 o'clock hour, I'm looking at one comment that says, go to Disney World during the cheer finals. You'll have your answer on who the worst youth sports parents are. That sounds like literal hell on earth. Disney World in general, not really my place.
Like combined with cheer.
Combined
which was
with
my
cheer.
pick for worst youth parents.
I can't think of a place I'd want to be less than Disney World for a youth cheer competition.
Yeah.
Nothing against the cheer parents out there. Well, actually, I guess this is exactly what
parents,
it is. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever been to a cheer event like that.
That's a good thing. You should keep that way.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. All right. The Lions just wrapped up OTAs. Mandatory minicamp is now next in the docket, right? So everything that we've learned from OTAs in general, I think the conversation starts with the Frank Ragnow news. Again, this isn't new news. We found out about this Monday at about 1 minute after we got off the air, which still to this day makes me a little bit mad. But Ragnow ends up retiring. This timeline on that is interesting, though, because if you go back to that Friday before, a week ago, so what would that have been? April 30. There's how many days are there's 30 days in
Sorry,
April,
what are
right?
you trying to say? Yeah,
1 week
30
ago.
days in April.
So April 30th, a week ago today. May. So it would have been May 31st.
May 31st.
Correct. Thank you, math. The report came out from the Detroit Free Press that Ragnow and Anzalone were both unhappy with their contracts. And the whole weekend, everyone was kind of like, that's weird. Like, they're holding out. They're not holding out, but they're not at optional training camps. Kind of a weird thing because the Lions have never dealt with anyone mad about their contracts, right? That hasn't been a thing. No one has had contract disputes with the Lions. They make it very clear to all of their players, whether it's Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow a couple years ago, Anzalone a couple years ago, they make it super clear. Here's what you have to do to earn a contract. They lay it out. They're transparent with their players. And I think that is one thing that you can point to, just one of the many things you can point to and say, that is what the Lions organization is doing differently. They're not having these disputes like what the Bengals are having with Trey Hendrickson, where he's calling them unprofessional, all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. Turns out all that stuff was bogus that was being reported on. I think that's irresponsible reporting, to say the least. To me, lost a lot of credibility for that publication because we found out on Monday it had nothing to do with the contracts. This has been about him and his body and how much wear and tear it's taken over the past few years, whether it's a fractured throat, torn pec, ankle injuries, knee injuries, getting rolled up on, back stuff, like everything, you name it, he's had it when it comes to injuries for Frank Ragnow. So he ends up retiring. And I think the biggest storyline there, it should be who's replacing Frank Ragnow, but I think it ended up being, where did this reporting come from? And Dan Campbell earlier, I guess this week, earlier as in yesterday, had some comments to say about it too. We don't need to play it again. We played it earlier on the show. But the second piece of that would be who is now playing center. And I think the obvious answer, based on some of the stuff Campbell said yesterday, is in fact rookie Tate Ratledge, who they drafted out of Georgia, who's never played center before in his entire career. Played guard for 4 years at Florida, a high character guy. I've got a ton of confidence that he's, a Detroit Lion, quote unquote. But to throw someone as a rookie into the starting center position to where you're replacing Frank Ragnow, an all-pro center, I don't know about quite a Hall of Fame center, but someone who's consistently one of the best players in the league at that position, those are big shoes to fill, especially considering it's center. It's not guard where you kind of just, he was supposed to be pinched between Penei Sewell and Frank Ragnow. That's easy life. Yeah. Now you're kind of the conductor of the offensive line. It's kind of your offensive line, man. Not only that, but there's expectations here. Not only to win a Super Bowl, but to have the best offensive line in football. Now all of a sudden, not only are there big shoes to fill, but there's a lot of pressure on him, and eyes are going to be on him from the very beginning. That would be the first thing we learned about at OTAs. The second thing we learned about at OTAs was Amon-Ra St. Brown, despite basically never leaving the field ever, had a off-season knee surgery cleanup procedure. I don't know if they used the word surgery or not. Procedure might have been the one that they went with there. But the only injury that pops up from his knee from throughout the season was week 12 against the Colts. He missed some practices that week, but then still ended up playing the following week. Didn't miss any time, but there was some reports hey, I'm going to be wearing a brace, doing a little bit of stuff. Ends up getting that surgery, has not been present for OTAs, so that's the reason he has not been there. I thought it was just, hey, I'm all-pro guy. No need for me to be here, which I wouldn't have even blamed him for. But apparently it is. It's not that. He's rehabbing right now. Him and Isaac Tesla, the third-round pick, have been kind of working out on the side. Don't really know what's going on with Tesla. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, yeah, still cleaning up. And honestly, I think this is not a good thing, but it's forcing other guys at this time of the year to be involved. And the reporting on the Amon-Ra thing was he should be ready for training camp. And if he's not, it's like he's not going to miss a ton of time. I don't think it's the worst thing if he isn't there at the very beginning, though, because him and Jared Goff have the chemistry. It's not like that's going anywhere. You have confidence in that. But I think based on some of the reports, and this is kind of my third thing, based on some of the quotes from John Morton, the new offensive coordinator, him saying focal points in the offense, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, and not mentioning St. Brown, is more evidence that he wants to feed everybody. He wants the passing attack to be a little bit of an uptick. Maybe he doesn't want to pound and ground as much as Ben Johnson did, and wants to make sure Jared Goff can do it throughout the year. And then once you get into the postseason, when you kind of have to pass a little bit more, depending on the situation that you're in, if you find yourself down, he wants to make sure Jared Goff is good. I'm going to be buying stock on Laporta and Gibbs and Jameson Williams, all of them, and selling a little bit of my Amon-Ra stock, not because I think he's any worse of a player, but based on those comments that John Morton made, and then based on what comments St. Brown made after that, where he's like, those are focal points in the offense. Those guys are only getting better. We want to get them more involved. I think you see a little bit of less production from Amon-Ra St. Brown this season. And that's not necessarily a bad thing if it means the offense
and
as a whole.
not due to the injury, too, you're saying either, right?
Not due to the injury, no. I just think everybody's going to get fed a little bit more evenly this year. Because I do think last year they resorted to St. Brown a little bit on third downs. And it worked for the most part. But we've talked about it time and time again. The unpredictability is what Ben Johnson was so good at. And if this is John Morton's way of making up for, hey, I'm not as creative of a play caller as Ben Johnson, but we are going to get every single person involved in a little bit more even of a playing field, I'm okay with that. The last thing we learned, Malcolm Rodriguez will not be healthy until November. Kind of a fan favorite. Also in the last year of his rookie contract, which that flew by. Like, remember he was a Hard Knocks star? It felt like yesterday. That was 3 years ago at this point. Tore his ACL on Thanksgiving. With him out until November, based on what Dan Campbell said, Lions are pretty thin at linebacker. Anzalone, Campbell, and then Derek Barnes is the Sam, kind of that hybrid linebacker edge role. That's kind of it. And we've got our guy Anthony Pittman. We've got Ezekiel Turner still around, but Trevor Nowaski's still there too, Saginaw Valley State legend, but pretty thin at linebacker there until Malcolm Rodriguez does return. So hoping for no injuries there. So I just laid out 4 different things. So take it wherever you want.
The door rotation that they had of guys coming in last season at the end of the year to play linebacker, like
Quan Alexander, Jamal Adams.
You forgot to include our boy Anthony Pittman, by the way, in that Lions linebacker rotation.
I mentioned Anthony Pittman.
Oh, I missed that.
Thanks for listening.
Right, of course. I think the big thing here is, like, with talking about the passing attack and how things are going to be different under John Morton with spreading the love a little bit to those other weapons that you mentioned, I want to know how much the Frank Ragnow retirement changes maybe his plans, because it can affect, it will affect the run and pass game, because Frank Ragnow was a center that didn't need any guard help, right? He would just go one-on-one. So it made things a lot easier for the rest of the offensive line to help protect Goff, who obviously needs as much protection as possible. Incredibly immobile, if immobile is a word. So it can affect the pass game, but also how much are they going to run it up the gut with maybe not having Ragnow there anymore? Is it going to be more of a heavy pass attack, or do they still lean on the run because they don't have that great of a pass protection anymore? I'm interested to see if it shifts anything from what Morton was planning to do originally.
Unfortunately, we'll probably never know the answer to that.
Of course.
But yeah, you can't just run it right up the gut anymore with the confidence that not to say like, oh, we're worried about Tate Ratledge, but odds are he's not going to be as good as Frank Ragnow as a rookie, you know?
Right, exactly.
And I don't know.
It's a tough spot for him to be at.
Right. And I don't know if you saw that that clip that was going around from the Bucks playoff game last year of Ragnow. Got rolled up on a couple plays prior, and then going up against Vita Vea on the 1 yard line, collapses onto his knee, continues to stay attached to the block, and then gets rolled up on again, like hobbling to get up, barely can walk. But that's like that's everything you need to know about Frank Ragnow. There was nothing that could keep that guy off the field. Fractured throat, torn pec, only misses a week because of it, doesn't miss any time because of the fractured throat. It just played through everything. An absolute warrior. That's the word that kept being thrown around throughout OTAs, whether it was Campbell or some of his teammates. Even Pittman earlier in the week when we had him on called him a warrior. So, great career. Everybody's going to miss that guy, though, because one of the rare guys that's been through like a longer tenured line than Dan
him
Campbell.
And Decker really have been the two guys that have been through it all here with this line's process.
Yeah, right from the beginning.
A lot of time to fish now for Frank Ragnow. Big fisherman he is.
Good for him. You fisher guy?
When I was younger, not really nowadays.
Yeah.
It's fun to do. I just don't do it.
I don't have the patience for it. I think you learned that. I think you learned that yesterday, like on hole 8 and 9 when I was like rushing every single putt. And then I just kept getting increasingly more mad.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let me tell you about one of my favorite products here that you can access right here in the Great Lakes Bay region, and that would be Linked Technologies. Stay secure, stay connected, and stay ahead with Linked Technologies, your local IT experts in Midland. From small businesses to large operations, they provide custom tech solutions that actually make your life easier. Specializing in networking, cybersecurity, cloud services, and managed IT support, all under just one roof. Makes it easy. Fast, reliable service with real people who speak your language. Whether you're upgrading, protecting, or troubleshooting, Linked Technologies keeps your system running smooth. Visit linkedtechsolutions.com and see how they can help your business work smarter, not harder. All right, some more news when we return. It is the Ben Bosscher Show, hour number 3, day number 5. This week has flown by, guys. We launched the show on Monday. This was a long time coming. I'm super grateful for the chance to do it. We're live on YouTube, live on Facebook every day. Appreciate everyone for listening, whether it's on one of those services or just on 100.9 The Mitt here in the Great Lakes Bay region. But hey, this is just the start of something, even though it's the end of the week. Hope everyone is looking forward to the weekend as much as I am, though. It's been a fun week. But we still got 50 minutes left together. So stay tuned. Ben Bosscher Show, 109 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Great Lakes Loons made history last night in Game 2 of a twin bill through a combined no-hitter. Eric Swan went 6 innings. Roque Gutierrez the final 3 outs. First no-hitter for the Loons since 2021. Here was the final out, a Gutierrez strikeout to make history for Great Lakes. He comes still. Payoff pitch. Called a third strike on the outside edge. Great Lakes, a no-hitter. Eric Swan, 6 innings. Roque Gutierrez, the final 3 outs. And Great Lakes in celebration mode. First no-hitter as a club since 2021. And they do it on the road here in South Bend. Back at it tonight. Coverage starts at 6:50 here on The Mitt.
You have better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the local job market. We're here in person. And we're locally owned, so you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at Spherion.com to find your local Spherion office. Let's get to work.
The new rebranded Matt Smith Modern Realty.
Well, Matt Smith Outdoors was really reflective of how I started my real estate journey, taking my outdoor experience, moving that into the real estate space to help people buy and sell land. So many people in this region ended up calling me and wanting me to work with them to help them buy and sell homes. This new brand was more reflective of what I'm delivering to people in this region every day.
Celebrate Father's Day at Dow Diamond Sunday, June 15th. It starts with the Play Ball Weekend Kids Clinic presented by Central Michigan University. Make sure they're pre-registered at loons.com. After the game, step on the field for a special Father's Day catch. A memory that will last a lifetime. There's something for the whole family this Father's Day. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
Timeout.
All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, welcome back into the Ben Bosscher Show. Hour number 3, we're going to keep things rolling here. Kyle, because of you, my phone just absolutely blew up during that last break.
Why is that?
Go check my phone. You absolutely made our Fantasy Football Sleeper League chat blow up. Is there a better feeling than making a trade and everyone else in the league just starts clowning the other person? Everyone's saying you got fleeced.
Yeah.
That is one of the best feelings you can possibly have. Top 6?
Sure.
I was going to say top 7 or top 8.
Yeah.
But yeah. Everyone, the chat flooding with
better
fleeced,
feeling.
fleeced,
Let's
fleeced.
compare this to what we talked about earlier. What we just said, the fantasy trade thing, or just drilling a deep putt on the green, man, after you've been having a bad round.
I don't know, man. The sending a trade and then everyone just bashing the other guy is, especially in a dynasty when it's like,
good feeling.
Yeah, I'm going there. But hey, I'd say hitting a.
I think any good golf hit is like a top 2 feeling ever.
I was going to say off the tee, I think it's better than hitting a longer putt.
Just in general, like your approach shot, you just plant it 5 feet.
Yeah, I'd get like 2 of those around. Something
that's
like
what I'm saying.
2 good shots around. More than that, but certainly not a lot.
And it's a pretty good feeling, isn't it?
It's fantastic. It's what keeps me going back to the course. All right, let's do the news.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
All right, let's hop back into the morning catch here. We're going to start with something that we didn't get to the first time around, and this is actually some pretty big news. Nothing crazy is going to happen today out of it, but Sharon Moore and the NCAA Committee on Infractions hearing to begin later today. And then basically for details on what's going to happen in this meeting is the Committee on Infractions is going to review the evidence and allegations with the Connor Stallion situation. They will determine whether violations can happen or not, and then they will meet in private after, and the final report is not released for 8 to 12 weeks after today's hearing. So nothing will be decided for 8 to 12 weeks, which obviously is right near week 1 of Michigan's season.
Snail's pace, man. The NCAA moves at a snail's pace. Remember that turtle we saw at the golf course yesterday? That thing would do laps around the NCAA. It's 8 to 12 weeks.
They have to review their report. That's what it's being worded as.
Oh my God.
So I think they can make a decision today, and it maybe will get reported on, but nothing will be finalized for 8 to 12 weeks.
And
so
then,
we might
and then
find
Michigan
out.
will dispute it, and then that's a whole nother.
Exactly.
Such a joke.
Just terrible, yeah. But Sharon Moore got a busy day today, so good luck to him.
Me and him, not all that different in that way, you know.
Explain. A lot going on.
Busy days, yeah.
Yeah, of course, dude. Okay, let's move to the NBA. Commissioner Adam Silver said before Game 1 of the finals last night that the NBA will discuss expansion at next month's Board of Governors meeting in Las Vegas, and he believes the league's owners will recommend the topic to be explored.
Okay,
We've heard about this for some time now.
I was just going to say, we knew this was happening. I missed this report, so I'm glad you threw it in the news. Yeah, this has been a long time coming. I'm guessing Vegas and Seattle, right? That kind of just seems to be the consensus. 2 new teams, Vegas, Seattle.
Yeah. I always thought Seattle was the lock. I lean towards Vegas as the lock now.
I do too.
And then Seattle probably still gets the other team, but...
I hope they actually just call them the Supersonics. We just get that team back.
And I hope they bring them in at the same time. I hope they don't do it how the NHL did, where it's like they brought one in and then 3 years later they bring the other one in.
Wasn't that like an experimental thing, or did they always plan on doing 2?
I guess I don't really know.
Neither. I would imagine they do them both at the same time to keep the conferences somewhat aligned. That would mean either one of those teams would have to be in the
Someone will get moved to the east.
Does Memphis get moved to the east?
Memphis or Minnesota or New Orleans, it's an option there. I think geographically Memphis is the eastest team there.
I hope it's Memphis. I'm not that, as a Pistons person, not that scared of Memphis.
We'll do New Orleans too.
Maybe Ja will be fine in the east, though.
Right, yes, of course. Okay, we talked about this a little bit earlier as well, but Aaron Rodgers is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. Finally, he saw all the news that was going on Twitter yesterday and thought, how can I make this about myself? And decided to announce him going to the Steelers.
Yeah, the two most powerful people in the United States are beefing, but how about I insert myself in, because just can't stand not being the center of attention, can you, Aaron?
Yeah,
I can't wait for him to come to Ford Field. I might go to the Steelers game just to boo Aaron Rodgers. Not even to watch the Lions.
I'm going to the Steelers game.
Oh, really?
So that's going to... just one of my roommates is a huge Steelers fan, so we've already decided we're going. So that's going to be fun.
One last game
odds
in
that
Ford
Aaron Rodgers
Field.
is starting that game, because it's like week 16. It's the game before the Christmas game.
Plus, who'd they draft? Will Howard?
You think plus?
No. Who'd they draft? Will Howard?
Yes.
Minus 400.
Okay. I just think maybe he's hurt or sucks by then.
Okay, minus 200. I guess there's a chance he can get hurt. I don't think he just gets... I guess there is a chance he just flat out gets benched, but
they were going to start Denthead
draft
for
a
this
rookie.
longest time, so...
I still can't believe you call him that. Will Howard, I think, would be the guy they want to see, but then again, he's kind of just a career backup now.
You would think so.
I don't think anyone's, thinking he has a real future with whatever team he got drafted to, even the team with no
yeah,
quarterback.
I would assume that is the situation, so
I'd
we'll
say
see. Interesting thing, though, with the Rodgers stuff...
Go ahead.
Also reportedly had an offer from the Giants, a one-year deal, and he was in discussion with the Vikings for quite some time, but the Vikings were the ones that decided to pull out.
Yeah, I remember reading some stuff about that a couple months back. Good business decision. Don't bring this guy in your building. The Steelers were left no choice because they decided not to draft any real quarterback with substance.
Were they left with no choice?
They couldn't roll out Mason Rudolph there week one, dude. You just can't. You
They
can't
also
tell
could
your
have
fan
brought
base
back
that.
either one of their starting QBs last year.
Yeah, it feels like they always wanted Aaron Rodgers. That's the scary part behind this. There was that Shador stretch, but then they passed on him so many times.
Is it safe to say that Russell Wilson is better than Aaron Rodgers in 2025?
No.
I know this is the worst argument
I don't
ever.
know.
Who cares?
Two
but
pretty gross quarterbacks. I don't know, man. I can't stand anything about Aaron Rodgers at this point.
Yeah, I just don't understand why you don't keep one of those two guys and then wait all this time to get Aaron Rodgers. But
I've got more on Aaron Rodgers, but let's finish the news first.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier once again. Pacers, wild comeback win to win Game 1 last night against the Thunder. Down by 9 with 3 minutes to go, and they pulled this out. We talked about this before the show, Ben, but I was getting tired watching this game. OKC's pulling away. I'm laying down in bed, starting to fall asleep.
Not locked in,
and then
you
it
are.
out of nowhere just got locked in. And I couldn't even fall asleep after the game was over because of how exciting this was.
I jumped up out of my seat when Halliburton hit that shot. Someone in the chat left a good stat. I found it. Tyrese Halliburton shooting 100% on shots to tie or take the lead in the last 2 minutes in the playoffs. That's incredible.
I saw a stat today that on Twitter, he's 13 of 15 on the entirety of this season in game tying or winning shots in the final 2 minutes. 13 of 15.
Jerry West. No, he wasn't Mr. Clutch. Was Jerry West Mr. Clutch?
No, he was the logo.
Mr. Clutch. No, I was right. Mr. Clutch, also known as Jerry West, R.I.P. I don't know if that nickname belongs to him anymore. Tyrese Halliburton might be taking that right in front of our eyes.
I mean, he's putting a pretty good case for it, that's for sure.
Tyrese Halliburton, the new Jerry West?
Potentially. Last thing on the news, Jeff Ishbia is next in line to be the next owner of the White Sox. This is something the White Sox fans have been wanting for a long time. Jerry Reinsdorf and that family has owned the White Sox, and the White Sox fans have been pretty unhappy. So Jeff Ishbia to take over 5 years from now, though. So it's like a pre-hire or pre-next in line to be the owner. But Jeff Ishbia, the brother of Matt Ishbia, who owns the Phoenix Suns.
I'd watch a reality show on the Ishbia family. Just how nuts they are.
Right.
Did you see the report that Matt Ishbia wants to be more involved in the Suns' decision-making? going forward?
I mean,
Like,
look
dude,
what he
what?
just did. Johnny Ott, who they hired as their head coach, is an MSU guy. He was the manager of the Michigan State basketball team when Ishbia was a walk-on there. To just
I want to be more involved. What does that look like? Because you've been the most hands-on involved owner in the NBA for the last 4 years, ever since you bought the team. So what on earth is it going to look like when you're even more involved?
He's going to be like Cuban. He's going to start sitting on the bench.
Yeah, just put a face to it.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it.
For the news.
All right, that's going to do it. All right, when we come back, I want to touch on Aaron Rodgers one more time because I think I've made this pretty clear for anyone who listens on the station consistently over the past year. If you've tuned into the payoff, RIP, I hate Aaron Rodgers with a burning passion. And to end, not quite to end Friday's show, but one of the last segments, I want to know who everyone's hate is a strong word, but sports hate, who you dislike the most in sports, any figure, player, coach, GM, who is at the top of that list? Because I have 4 guys that are on my Mount Rushmore that I'd like to share. That's next year, Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
At Aird & Garcia Insurance Group, they understand not everyone's insurance needs are the same. That's why they're dedicated to working with our clients to provide an insurance plan that's specific to you.
Whether you need life, home, auto, business, and farm, with their team's extensive knowledge and over 100 years combined experience, you can guarantee they work hard to put you in the best insurance position.
The experience matters. Aird & Garcia Insurance Group. Farm Bureau Insurance.
Now, wait a second, Sharon. So the Midland Area Community Foundation runs the Midland Area Santa House?
You bet we do.
And Midland Area River Days?
Absolutely.
Plus scholarships for students and grants for local nonprofits? That's like hitting the cycle and impacting our community.
Anyone can step up to the plate and help build community capital for as little as $5.
$5? That's the cost of a snack at the ballpark. How do I get in the game?
Just visit midlandfoundation.org and make a gift to our community investment fund. Every dollar makes a difference.
Join the team. Give today at midlandfoundation.org.
The Michigan Baseball Foundation is more than just baseball. It's a driver of economic growth and community. Operating one of the nation's top minor league stadiums, MBF supports job creation and regional development. Through creative partnerships and charitable giving, MBF has helped bring projects like Dow Diamond, the East End Development, Fairfield Inn and Suites, the Plaza, and the Dow Bay Area Family YMCA to life, generating over $23 million annually in economic impact. Every Great Lakes Loons ticket supports these efforts. Learn more at michiganbaseballfoundation.org.
We can't see tomorrow, but we can hear it. And it sounds like peace of mind, knowing our lakes will be better protected by placing Line 5 in the Great Lakes Tunnel. And that we've added extra safety measures while we work to build it, because we're committed to keeping the Great Lakes safe for generations to come. Tomorrow is on. Visit enbridge.com/line5 for more information. Enbridge. Life takes energy.
Celebrate Father's Day at Dow Diamond Sunday, June 15th. It starts with the Play Ball Weekend Kids Clinic presented by Central Michigan University. Make sure they're pre-registered at loons.com. After the game, step on the field for a special Father's Day catch, a memory that will last a lifetime. There's something for the whole family this Father's Day. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. From the hometown heroes to the college legends to the pros on Sunday, 100.9 The Mitt is your home for wall-to-wall play-by-play coverage. High school football, basketball, and hockey.
Region champions for the first time in school history.
Michigan State football and basketball.
Touchdown, MSU!
The NFL, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night primetime games. And don't think we forgot about your hometown team. The Great Lakes Loons.
That ball's over and out of here.
100.9 The Mitt.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the MHSAA, are the 292,000 high school sports students in Michigan. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
Welcome back into the Ben Bosscher Show. I've got to tell you guys, I am very excited for what we have the next segment. We got something new that we should be doing every Friday going forward, TBD. But until then, we've got one more thing to cover. Look, I told you Aaron Rodgers back in the NFL. I figured let's just do this because it's a Friday and it's fun because I think everyone kind of shares the hatred that I have for Aaron Rodgers, maybe not to the level that I do. But I just think he's such a narcissist. I think he inserts himself into these situations to where he's the center of attention. I think there's a reason he held out for so long and basically made the Steelers wait. I think the Giants and Jets basically said, middle finger to this guy, we're not waiting for you any longer. So we'll find a different direction to go. The Steelers had no choice, so they end up hanging out with Aaron Rodgers. For so long, Aaron Rodgers was my number one, top of the mountain guy I hated the most across sports. In the past year and a half, there has been someone else to surpass Aaron Rodgers, to where Aaron Rodgers is now sitting at number 2. Matt Patricia is 4. David Ortiz is 3. But the number 1 spot, I think, will forever, for the rest of my life, belong to Monty Williams, the one-year head coach for the Detroit Pistons. I hate that guy. I know you hear the promos. I can legit lay out a case that this guy ruins the Pistons on purpose with the intent of being fired, and I'm not even kidding. It's not a joke. It's not hyperbole. It's not anything. I think he legitimately tried to get himself fired, got the guaranteed contract, highest paid coach of all time, and basically said, nah, how do I get out of this now? I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah,
he should be in jail for that.
A really good answer. I don't think anyone would disagree with your take either, that he did that sabotage, you know? It's pretty obvious, honestly.
We've already got people in the chat giving their Mount Rushmores of athletes they hate the most. I want to hear some more of those too, but I want to finish this first. Because Monty Williams used to send lineups out there like, hey, here's Killian Hayes starting over Jaden Ivey. What? Here is James Wiseman and Marvin Bagley, the third, playing together. What? He was so checked out during these press conferences, so checked out in the middle of these games, the all-bench lineups 5 minutes in, the playing guys that wouldn't be in a rotation for any other team consistently, like Isaiah Livers playing all the... A joke of a human being, really, for the most part. He's forever one. Aaron Rodgers, too. David Ortiz, for obvious reasons. Good guy. Like him on the Fox coverage, but that moment will forever haunt me. I don't need to bring it up. And then Matt Patricia, I just think, was an absolute loser. What are you doing?
Yeah, total loser.
Driving around on a four-wheeler at training camp. Well, why? Broken foot. Who cares? Show up late. Show up on time to your press conferences, dude. Your opening press conference, make a good impression. Fat Matt. Okay, I guess I'll read some of these. Ian in the chat says, my hate Mount Rushmore is Embiid, Brunson, Trey Young, Rodgers. Why Embiid?
Ooh, Brunson.
I don't know if Brunson's quite there yet for me. That was like a I hate this guy for 2 weeks thing. Don't really like the way he plays basketball. But now I think, I don't know.
It could turn into something, though, right?
It definitely could turn into something.
Playoff series, it definitely could turn into something.
Total loser. Who would be on
I think
yours?
a lot of throwback Detroit fans would include Ron Artest in theirs. He's a pretty hated Detroit athlete from Detroit fans' perspective.
Kind of vibe with him, though, honestly.
With Meta?
Yeah, Meta World Peace. Who would be on yours? Any different?
Rodgers, for sure, is still number one for me. That's never changed. I have despised Aaron Rodgers. I'm not much of a hater, though, like other way around. I know a lot of people just it's trendy to find people to hate. It's like a cool thing to do and hate on everyone, especially the good players. So for me, I also really have always hated the Packers coach Mike McCarthy, and now Matt LaFleur. Which, it's funny because Matt LaFleur is from Mount Pleasant.
I was going to say,
so it's like,
that should be your guy.
Went to Mount Pleasant High School. Not a Matt LaFleur guy at all. I wouldn't know if he's on my Mount Rushmore. I love the Matt Patricia ad. I will for sure include him.
I thought that Matt LaFleur stuff in Ford Field last year was hysterical when those Lions fans that got banned for life, basically, RIP, got in his head before the game even started. That's how you know the Lions have a good home field advantage, but not good enough to
for
to
me,
win a playoff
Devin
game.
Bush is on my list.
Devin Bush.
Based off of for what happened, Michigan State football that time, really despised what happened there.
That rubbed you the wrong
he
way.
was an absolute bust in the NFL.
I actually love Devin Bush for that. Not because
you love Devin Bush.
Not because I'm a Michigan. I love Trey
right.
Holloman for what he did. I love any single thing that gets that rivalry brewing to the point where there is real hatred between the teams. I want every time those two teams play in football or basketball, there to be a real hatred going on. I'm not a very hateful guy, but on the court, I do want there to be, because it felt like
Are
for
you
basketball.
not a hateful guy? I mean, this whole show we've been complaining about
That's not true.
the Tigers, different sports publications, and now your most hated athletes.
That's true.
It's a pretty funny show
I
today.
feel like I'm genuinely a happy guy today, though. What were we just saying?
Talking about Michigan State.
Oh yeah.
Hatred.
It feels like in basketball, because of the Dusty May thing that happened at the very end of the season, him sticking up for his guys and then Izzo sticking up for his guys and everything that happened at half court, it does feel like there's a real, there's some animosity between these teams now. I liked what Devin Bush did because it caused some animosity. Now, obviously, I don't want fights to break out in the tunnel. That's crossing the line. But I don't like it when it's these two teams respect each other, because that's what it kind of was with the Izzo Beeline era.
The players didn't. The coaches did.
Yeah.
Ooh, Juwan Howard, is he on my all-time hate list?
He should be on the Michigan all-time hate list. He just had too much winning early on to really solidify himself.
Super obvious one. This guy is for sure on the list, probably over Devin Bush. Hunter Dickinson, and he might be on some Michigan guys' list too. Despise Hunter Dickinson, man.
I've never understood this one. I really don't.
I used to dislike Mo Wagner, but I actually like Mo Wagner as soon as he left Michigan, went to the NBA. He's a cool, funny guy. Hunter Dickinson, no.
I don't understand why people don't like Hunter Dickinson. Is it just because
you don't understand why? You ever watch this guy's antics during games?
He just gets animated. He gets excited. What's wrong with that?
I'm not a Hunter Dickinson fan.
It did feel like last year, I feel like the Kansas fans, if anything, should hate Hunter Dickinson. He seemed checked out by the time March Madness rolled around.
He seemed checked out after his freshman year of college.
He peaked as a freshman.
I dominated as a freshman playing in the paint. Let me play in the short corner and on the perimeter for the rest of my career.
Yeah, no, I get that.
See, and Ian, look at that. Oh my, Hunter Dickinson is actually my number one. LOL. I forgot about him somehow.
Is that on the YouTube chat?
that's one that Michigan and Michigan State fans can agree on.
I guess. All right, let me tell you about my friends at Premier Tile and... No, wait, I already did that earlier today, didn't I? I did. All right, well, then let me tell you about... Actually, I don't think I did, so I'm going to do it anyway. Boring floors, sad showers, Premier Tile and Stone is here to rescue your surfaces from the snooze zone. These folks turn tile into art, kitchens, bathrooms, backsplashes, fireplaces. If it holds, they'll make the tile look beautiful. Locally owned in Midland, but their work looks like it belongs in a magazine that charges $15 an issue. Giant selection of fancy stuff, ceramic, natural stone, and probably materials you can't even pronounce. I actually skipped over one because I didn't know if I was going to pronounce it right. But you'll definitely love it. Stop dreaming and start scheming. Visit the showroom and let your inner interior designer run wild. That's Premier Tile and Stone, where your floors get fabulous and grout gets glorious. I cannot wait for what we're going to do next here on the Ben Bosscher Show. It is a new Friday tradition, along with our other two traditions. To end every show, Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
It's time to remember that. With Kyle Sandell.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent located downtown Midland. MLB All-Star voting got underway yesterday, and the Tigers are in a spot where they're going to have several All-Stars this season. There's some obvious ones. Tarek Skubal will for sure be an all-star once again. Riley Green will likely make back-to-back all-star appearances. But then there's a few other guys that you would think might have a chance to be starters or get voted in as reserves. Names like Will Vest come to mind. Gleyber Torres has a pretty good shot at second base. But the guy that I'm vouching for to be the starter at his position in the American League in the All-Star game is none other than Spencer Torkelson. Now, you look at the initial numbers and you think, no way Spencer Torkelson makes it over the Vlad Guerreros or Paul Goldschmidts in the American League. Just a .230 batting average right now for Torque. But he leads all the American League first basemen in home runs with 14, and he's hit at the heart of an order of a Tigers team that has been the best in Major League Baseball this season. Third best OPS in the American League right now, better than Vlad Guerrero. And being the prime right-handed bat on the best team in Major League Baseball, leading that team in homers with 14, while bouncing back from the type of criticism and season he had a year ago. I know all that storyline stuff doesn't go into it, but Spencer Torkelson has a really good chance to make his first All-Star game this season, and I believe he should be the starter in the American League at first base. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland.
Sneakers laced and smiles ready. That's the vibe at the Greater Midland Dow Run Walk on June 7th.
Whether you're racing like a gazelle or strolling like it's a Sunday walk, this event brings fresh air, good vibes, and plenty of high fives.
Bring your friends, bring your family, and don't forget your best dance moves for the finish line party.
Sign up today at greatermidland.org. Run, walk, or show up just for the snacks. Just make sure you're there this Saturday.
At Tommy's Express, you can get your car clean, shiny and dry in just minutes. Our state-of-the-art eco-friendly wash delivers a spotless finish every time. With the Tommy Club app, enjoy unlimited washes or paper wash. Skip the line with license plate recognition and manage everything right from your phone. Fast, clean, and simple. Visit Tommy's Express today and see the difference. Text Clean Card to 86697 for a free works wash.
Offer valid for new guests only. By participating, you consent to receive promotional information text from Tommy's Express. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. At First Class Epoxy Floor and Counter, floors don't just get coated, they get a makeover. Epoxy's so tough, it shrugs off spills, stains, and even your wildest dance moves. Garages, workshops, anywhere you want a floor that's smooth, shiny, and just a little bit sassy, they handle it all with style. No more boring floors. Get ready to impress everyone who walks through the door. Slide into durability and flair. First Class Epoxy Floor and Counter, where your floors get the VIP treatment they didn't know they needed.
Hey, did you guys catch anything yet?
Not a thing.
Bummer, neither have we. I'm actually just about to head into town. I'm going to go into Higher Standards Automotive. They got this award-winning service department with amazing technicians and this large parts department in case I want to fix it myself. They got the part there.
Whatever.
No, I'm serious, man. It's out there.
Yeah, just like when you tried to convince me Bigfoot was real.
Ray?
Bigfoot's behind me, isn't he?
Yeah, we got it. Run! Get out! Stop into Higher Standards Automotive, North Eastman Road in Midland, right past the mall.
We're in your town, your school, your huddle. 100.9 The Mitt is here for sports fans in the Great Lakes Bay region. From the hardwoods of Saginaw to Midland's Friday Night Lights. From the streets of Bay City to Freeland, Frankenmuth, and Hemlock. We roll through Beaverton, Auburn, Pinconning, Essexville, and Shepherd. All the way to Gladwin, Birch Run, Coleman, and Bridgeport. This is your sports station. High school, college, NFL, the Looms. It's all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan sports leader. This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mine stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Michigan needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, welcome back in. We're wrapping up the show. We've got 2 traditions to end every show. We've got our lock of the day here in a second. We're going to guess Colin Cowherd's Open here in a second. But something that we've kind of been workshopping all week is to end Friday's show with our director of sales, Sarah Stockford. Sarah, this is your first time here on the Ben Bosscher Show. What's going on?
Well, I'm holding a microphone here on my lab. So it's good. It's good, as I expected to come into the show.
So the idea behind you coming on was once a week, you just give us your take. And I'm not going to lie, it's been circling around. People have been talking. You've apparently trying to workshop this take. You tried to run it by Kyle. I don't know if you're trying to run it by your brother. I don't want any of that. I don't want you to run this by anyone. I want this to be a raw, authentic Sarah Stockford, unfiltered take.
Yeah, and I think
it can be whatever you want.
I kind of like thought about it, and I was like, okay, I don't want to run it past a bunch of different people. I just kind of want some ideas of what we think
we don't
would
want
work.
that.
But I didn't, and it's going to be my full take of what I think off the wall. So,
okay, and you
ready for it?
Have you run this by anybody?
I ran it past Jimmy and Los, and they were like, "That's good, that's good."
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so are you ready for it?
Let's hear it. You get one take every Friday.
Okay.
It needs to be good.
Okay, Patrick Mahomes, most overrated quarterback in the league. So there you go. I'm completely out on him. I'm completely out on the Chiefs. Once they made a Hallmark movie, I was out. So there
this
you
is
go.
tremendous.
Keep going. Keep going.
Here's the thing. Once they made a Hallmark movie, I was like, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him. I think Josh Allen's a better quarterback. He's 6'5". He can play in cold weather. And I'm just completely out on Patrick Mahomes. I think he's like he's like the influencer of like NFL. Like I feel like people just like overhype him up. And then that's why they win so many games, is because they're just overhyped. And then they're like, oh, we're playing Patrick Mahomes. Oh, no. And then the Chiefs end up winning. And that's why. So you're welcome.
9 out of 10.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was really good, Sarah. I couldn't disagree with you anymore. But, I appreciate the passion. That was
Thank
well
you.
workshopped.
Thank you.
Tremendous
Thank you so
work,
much.
Sarah.
Thank you.
How do you
and
think?
I stand by it. So
Okay.
there you go.
Can we hear?
play in the cold,
Can we confirm that can't play in the cold is insane.
Yeah.
Can we book you for next Friday to give us your next
you
take?
got it.
You did
got
get a letter cook in the chat, so
I'm sure. Yeah.
congratulations.
I'm sure everyone disagrees with me.
All right, thank you for that,
You're
Sarah.
welcome. Thank you so
can
much
stop
for having
holding
me
that
on.
microphone
I appreciate
in a
it.
ridiculous way now.
Fantastic.
All right.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye, guys.
There she goes. We should get that sponsored by Success Suite.
Right.
That would be crazy. All right, our other 2 traditions to end the show. Let's start out with our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right. We did this on I guess let's go over the week first. So we hit on Monday plus 240. We hit on Tuesday plus 112. That automatically made us positive for the week. And I say we as in anyone who's been tailing the lock of the weeks. We're cold right now. 2 losses in a row after Chet Holmgren did not score 17 points last night. They barely even played him last night. Tried to go a little bit more small ball. Did not work out for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So here's what we're doing today. We're going right back to what we went with on Wednesday because Connor McDavid is going to score at some point. I like the value here, plus 145. If he doesn't score again, guess what? On Monday, we will be betting it again. He is going to score at some point. He is the best player in the world. He's playing in the biggest stage of them all. Eventually, he will find the back of the net. Once we cash in on it, we won't do it again. But we're going back to the well with that. We're positive on the week regardless, already 1.5 units right now. So even if we lose today, we're still up a half unit.
We're still up half unit, yeah.
Here's a chance to go up even more, like basically 3 units with the plus 145 odds. So Connor McDavid scores tonight in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. That is my lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Pretty good start for the lock of the days.
Yeah.
All right. Not a great start for me in terms of the other way we like to end the show, which is predicting Colin Cowherd's Open. If you are listening on 100.9 The Mitt FM, Colin Cowherd takes over at noon. Colin Cowherd has been off all week, which has been the ironic part about that. So we've been trying to predict what J-Mac has to lead with. You are currently up 1-0.
I'm up 1-0, yes. Hit 2 days ago.
Okay.
You were close yesterday.
Remind me what happened yesterday?
You went with the Shea Thunder legacy talk thing. And he went with how he thinks the Pacers can beat the Thunder in Game 1, despite them being this great team. So you were close.
It was the cousin of what I said. It's kind of the opposite in a way, but like same topic discussion tree.
Right.
He just went zag. He was like, "Yeah, stop comparing Shea to Michael Jordan."
Yes, he did. It was actually the complete opposite, but it was still close.
Yeah, somewhat relevant.
Today's tough, right? Because there's an
two
obvious
directions.
lead. J-Mac has obviously been the NBA head this week. He's led with NBA every single day, actually. And today would be the perfect day to do it again. So we're going to be super specific. I'm going first, but I am going to zag here.
You're not going
He
football?
is going to lead with Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
To the Steelers. I think that I'm going to go different than what I originally thought. I thought he'd lead with finals and then pivot to Aaron Rodgers talk. I think he opens with Rodgers to Steelers for like 2 minutes. Like, oh, it finally happened. And then he's going to talk about finals for the rest of the first segment. But he opens with Rodgers talk. That's my pick.
I think it's vice versa. He gets to Rodgers in the first segment, but not in the first topic.
Right, because he's known to switch topics.
Yes. I am going to go with a little pat on the back victory lap for picking the Pacers in the series. And basically he doubling down on that from his take yesterday. I think he says Tyrese Halliburton, most clutch player, more clutch than anyone on the Thunder. That's part of the reason they're going to win it. And basically just starts doubling down on him being right about Game 1. That would be my prediction.
Yeah, it's a good pick. There was one of 2 picks for today, so I decided to go football. You're going basketball. So we'll see.
I thought we were both going NBA Finals. We're going to have to be a little bit more specific about it, but you just zagged completely.
Let's double up spots here.
What do you mean?
What are the odds that one of us hits? Ooh. It's got to be minus, right? I mean, this is a
have
lock, I think.
We're 1 for 8 so far this week.
But for today, it has to be one of our 2 things.
Okay, minus 110 then.
Yeah.
Because it could still be about the finals. We just get the angle of it wrong.
Does he talk about how the Thunder are fumbling the series away?
Yeah, collapse. All-time
biggest
historic.
collapse ever for Thunder?
Yeah, that could be it. Because I don't think I'd win if that was the case.
No, but
I think he's going to do a little victory lap.
If it's mainly about the Pacers, you get it. If it's Pacers-centric, you get it, I think.
I would agree.
Yeah.
But if he goes Thunder-centric, no cake for me. Close, but no cigar.
1-0 right now, so we'll see if we're evened up or if I'm up 2-0 or it stays the same headed into week 2.
All right. I'm not going to lie, Kyle. I cannot wait for 7 o'clock tonight to watch Tarek Skubal in those ugly uniforms go up against the Cubs. I found out it's the first time in Comerica Park history that the Tigers, being the top team in the AL, are hosting the top team in the NL. All eyes are going to be on the Detroit Tigers this weekend. We have a great
Let's go Tigers!
matchup down in Comerica Park. We sent someone to the game for Sunday. That was back on Wednesday. We do a little giveaway every single Wednesday. So if you didn't win or didn't listen or didn't know about it, you know now. Every Wednesday we're doing a little bit of a giveaway, and this week happened to be one of the best ones we'll have all summer, I would imagine.
For sure, especially for this weekend.
Yeah, we'll get some more Tigers tickets going eventually, but this Tigers-Cubs series is going to be fantastic. And last time Skubal pitched on a Friday night, it was that ridiculous game where he had 32 swing and miss pitches. Ended up throwing some people out on that knuckle curve. Yeah, just demonic stuff from Tarek Skubal. So that is what I'll be doing tonight. I cannot wait. This has been a fantastic first week of the Ben Bosscher Show. Look at that. I think that's a new personal record for me. 15 hours on the air this week.
Of speaking, yeah.
Maybe. There could have been a week I filled in for Huge and did the payoff within the year, so maybe I'm wrong. But, hey, this is the new normal now. The new schedule, 9 to noon right here on 100.9 The Mitt, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. I think this has been so much fun, and I can't wait to get through the weekend, get a couple days off, and then get right back to the grind on Monday. This has been a dream come true. So Great Lakes Bay region, appreciate you guys for welcoming me with open arms last year. This has been a long time coming, and for everyone who's not from here, who's still tuning in on YouTube and Facebook, I appreciate you guys just as much too. I just want you to know this is only the beginning This is only the beginning. We've got a lot of things planned out. We've got a good vision here as to what this can become, even here in the next few months. So for those listening right now, I salute you. I appreciate you. You're here for the journey. And with that being said, I can't wait to talk to you guys again on Monday. All right, everyone. If you're going to take away one thing from today's show, it's that Kerry Carpenter should not get pinch hit at all this weekend. Thanks for listening. That was the Ben Bosscher Show. Have a good weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on